Chapter 247. In the main hall of the Heavenly Palace on Mount Qingshu, in the main hall, only Reverend Ming Liang, Reverend Ming Shan, Reverend Lan Bing and Shui Yu Yang of the Lanyang School are looking at the entrance. Reverend Qi Yang, whose whole body is filled with killing intent, angrily walks into the main hall of the Heavenly Palace, cursing, "Wu Hei, one day I'll kill him with my own hands to avenge junior brother Qi Yan." Reverend Qi Yang looks up at Reverend Ming Liang, who is sitting in the main hall, and says angrily, "Reverend Ming Liang, I really can't stand it anymore. In less than half a month, several hundred loose immortals have already died. Moreover, the enemy specifically chose those with high power to kill. My junior brother Qi Yan was a 10th tribulation loose immortal, but he was still killed by that Wu Hei. This is intolerable. Reverend Ming Liang, we must teach the loose devils a lesson." "Calm down, Reverend Qi Yang," Reverend Ming Liang says indifferently. Hearing that Reverend Ming Liang is still like this, Reverend Qi Yang finally cannot hold back the anger in his heart. Calm down my ass. The one who died wasn't your junior brother, of course you're calm. If I continue to calm down, I don't know how many loose immortals will die in my Purple Sun School. Look, in this half-month, how many of the loose immortals who died were from your Qingshu temple? Most of them weren't from our school." Reverend Qi Yang's whole body surges with fire energy. Reverend Ming Liang frowns, his eyes flashing with a cold light. Reverend Ming Shan on one side stands up and says, "Reverend Qi Yang, don't be blinded by hatred. Could it be you don't know the secret of the heaven-sundering diagrams? Only the few of us know the secret of the heaven-sundering diagrams. Since you know the secret of the heaven-sundering diagrams, you should know what to do. The heaven-sundering diagrams are related to the Ni-Yang realm, but other than these few people, none of the other loose immortals know. Quite a few loose immortals know the importance of the heaven-sundering diagrams, but they do not know why they are important." Shui Yu Yang of the Lanyang School, whose eyebrows are snow-white, also says, "Reverend Qi Yang, think about it carefully. This heaven-sundering diagrams are related to the Ni-Yang realm. To open the Ni-Yang realm, 3 pieces of the heaven-sundering diagrams must be gathered. As long as we possess a heaven-sundering diagram, we will definitely have a share in entering Ni-Yang's realm. It's not worth sacrificing the lives of countless itinerant cultivators for another one." "Qi Yang," Qi Yang says. Reverend Qi Yang says furiously, "But why do those loose devils always send experts to kill our loose immortals?" Reverend Lan Bing also says with a frown, "Reverend Qi Yang, not long ago people from the Inue Palace came and said that Reverend Qi Yang from our side also went to kill their people. Did you go?" "No." Reverend Qi Yang said angrily, "I'm not that ignorant. They are slandering me." The others don't say anything. They all know Reverend Qi Yang's temperament. It is really hard to tell whether Reverend Qi Yang will secretly go to the Inue Palace to kill some loose devils to vent his anger. "Alright, let's stop talking. From today onwards, I'll personally guard Mount Qingshu." In short, the heaven-sundering diagram had to be placed in Heavenly Palace. With the 10 development illusionary formation, it's impossible for those loose devils to enter. Reverend Ming Liang says coldly. Reverend Ming Liang's gaze sweeps over the others, pausing for a moment on Reverend Qi Yang. "Don't blame me for not reminding you. If you go out and get killed, you can't blame anyone. What's more, when the emissaries of the celestial realm come down, those who will fight for the treasures in Ni-Yang's realm will probably be the emissaries of the various realms. If we are lucky, we will be able to obtain some treasures. It's not worth letting several tens of thousands of loose practitioners bleed for this." Reverend Qi Yang, Shui Yu Yang and the others all become silent. They will not say these words to the immortal realm's emissaries, but they all understand this principle. The immortal realm's emissaries will descend to the mortal world, as will the demon realm's emissaries and the devil realm's emissaries. Given the power of the emissaries from the various realms, they will definitely be stronger than Reverend Ming Liang and the others. When the time comes, fighting for the treasures of the Ni-Yang realm will definitely be the emissaries' business. Reverend Qi Yang and the others will only be chess pieces. Is it worth letting countless loose immortals die for the treasures of the Ni-Yang realm that they cannot obtain? Of course not. The several reverends all understand this principle. Wu Kongxue should also understand this principle, but why do his people always come to kill loose immortals, especially that Wu Hei? Most of the loose immortals were killed by him. Reverend Qi Yang says indignantly. Reverend Ming Liang becomes silent. Yes, Wu Kongxue and the others definitely understand this principle. The treasures of the Ni Yang realm are what all the immortal emperors of the various realms want to obtain. Those treasures will definitely be fought over by the emissaries of the various realms. Won't it be enough if they can just obtain a heaven-sundering diagram? Wu Kongxue, perhaps that guy simply doesn't care about the lives of loose devils. Shui Yuyang suddenly says. The hearts of Reverend Ming Liang and the others are shaken. Yes, Wu Kongxue is not a loose devil of a school on the Tenglong continent. He was originally only a lone loose devil. Wu Hei is also the same. The two of them do not care about the lives of the loose devils on the Tenglong continent. Reverend Ming Liang and the others care about the lives of several tens of thousands of loose immortals, but do Wu Kongxue and Wu Hei care about them? If Wu Hei and Wu Kongxue come over, I'll fight them myself. Alright, you can go and rest first. In the end, Reverend Ming Liang only gives this order. Qin Yu stands on his immortal sword, shuttling through the sky. Qin Yu knows the secret of the heaven-sundering diagrams. He also knows that they can only be used when 3 diagrams are gathered. One of the 3 diagrams is in the hands of the Dragon Clan. The Dragon Clan has a 12th tribulation super divine beast, the 5-clawed golden dragon. This diagram is destined to be taken away by no one. Qin Yu has always thought that the loose devils and loose immortals would not be so stupid as to fight each other under normal circumstances. But now everything he sees is completely different from what Qin Yu imagined. What's actually going on? Also, it's said that quite a few loose devils of the Inue Palace have died. Could it be there's someone else secretly sowing discord? Qin Yu guesses in his mind. In Qin Yu's view, there is only one explanation for the current situation. That is, another power is secretly sowing discord. Could it be the Dragon Clan? Qin Yu thinks for a while but cannot be sure. In the end, he still flies extremely fast towards the Inue Palace. After checking the approximate location of Mount Qingshu, Qin Yu prepares to check the Inue Palace. Now Qin Yu is extremely fast. In less than a day, Qin Yu has already arrived outside the Inue Palace. The Inue Palace is also deep in the mountains. Now it is giving off a terrifying aura from a distance. That is the aura of countless loose devils gathered together. The combined aura of the several tens of thousands of loose devils of the Inue Palace even surpasses that of the Devil Pang Island. Qin Yu thinks to himself. Outside the Inue Palace, Qin Yu only uses his eyes to roughly observe the surrounding area and position and firmly remembers it in his mind. Just as Qin Yu is observing carefully, suddenly, in the direction of the Inue Palace, a blur shoots up extremely fast from the Inue Palace into the sky. In the process of shooting straight up, that blur unexpectedly rushes back into the Inue Palace at an even faster speed. In just the blink of an eye, it shoots up into the sky for a while and then rushes into the Inue Palace for a while. In this blink of an eye, it has attacked up and down at least several hundred times. It has attacked at least several hundred times. Qin Yu feels a burst of fear in his heart. That speed is really too fast. Compared with that blur, Qin Yu is now not even 1/10 of the opponent's speed. Qin Yu simply cannot see clearly how many times the opponent has attacked. He can only barely count several hundred times, but in fact the number of attacks is even higher. Wu Kongxue, you killed Reverend Qi Yen of the Xiang School. Dame Lianyu opens her mouth but does not know what to say. The Dragon Clan leader and the master of the Devil Pang Island are both highly respected figures. How can they possibly do such a sinister thing? Just now you've all felt that Reverend Ming Liang's speed. None of us can catch up with him, so that man must be Reverend Ming Liang. Fire Devil says with certainty. At this moment, 7 or 8 9th tribulation and 10th tribulation loose devils fly over. Lord Wu Kongxue, we can't bear it anymore. Several hundred loose devils died a few days ago, but this time even that Reverend Ming Liang personally got into action and killed 1,000 of them in one go. If this goes on, how can my fellow loose devil brothers stay in the Inue Palace with peace of mind? A 10th Tribulation Loose Devil says hurriedly. The faces of Dame Lian Yu, Wu Kongxue, Fire Devil and the others all change color. That's right. If this goes on, those loose devils will definitely be frightened and may even leave the Inue Palace directly. Another 10th Tribulation Loose Devil flies up from below and says respectfully to Dame Lian Yu, Dame, just now several tens loose devils said they wanted to leave the Inue Palace. Now we're persuading them with kind words. Indeed. Loose devils were killed again and again, causing some of the weaker loose devils to be terrified. After all, the Inue Palace does not have the Qingshu Temple's 10 development illusionary formation. Dame Lian Yu's eyes flash with coldness. She says coldly, Lord Wu Kongxue, I think we shouldn't keep quiet anymore. The Heavenly Palace on Mount Qingshu has the 10 development illusionary formation so they can defend it. We don't have that level of defensive formation. We'll lead several tens of thousands of loose practitioners straight to Mount Qingshu. Fire Devil also says with a nod, that's right. No matter what, we'll occupy Mount Qingshu directly then besiege Heavenly Palace. If they have the ability, the loose immortals can hide in Heavenly Palace under the protection of the 10 development illusionary formation forever. Wu Kongxue ponders for a while. Then he bursts out laughing. He is not a loose devil from any school on the Tanglong continent, so it does not matter how many loose devils die. Isn't it a very delightful thing to go on a killing spree? Wu Kongxue practices the blood devil path, so he likes killing the most. As soon as he thinks about the scene of several tens of thousands of loose practitioners killing each other and blood flowing like a river, he instead becomes a bit excited. All right. Wu Kongxue's eyes redden. That Reverend Ming Liang dares to bully us, so he can't blame us for being ruthless. Don't they have the 10 development illusionary formation? Just let them hide. We'll kill all of the Qingshu Temple's ordinary disciples and the loose immortals outside the formation first. I'll see if that Reverend Ming Liang can still sit still. The other big loose devils all show ferocious looks in their eyes. They have already had enough of the sullenness of the past few days. Loose devils have a very strong devilish nature. In the distance, Qin Yu sees the several big loose devils discussing something together. But while Wu Kongxue and the others are talking, they set up a small restrictive spell around them so Qin Yu simply cannot hear what they are saying. He only sees those 10th Tribulation loose devils fly straight down after hearing Wu Kongxue's order. In just a short while, bursts of cheers and bloodthirsty howls resound throughout the entire mountain of the Inue Palace. All of these loose devils have an extremely strong devilish nature and killing intent. In the past few days, they have already been filled with anger after being sneak attacked and killed by loose immortal experts. Now knowing that they are going to attack Mount Qingshu as a whole, they all become excited. It should have been like this long ago. Kill, kill, kill them all, haha. Mount Qingshu, just wait to be slaughtered. Various excited loose devils are howling loudly. Their voices rise and fall in the Inue Palace one after another. Hearing these words in the distance, Qin Yu already understands what is going to happen. Is the war about to start? There's no need to sow discord at all, or it could be said that someone has already done so. No matter what, the prelude to the first step of the plan has already succeeded. Qin Yu looks at the Inue Palace in front of him. In his eyes, the Inue Palace seems to be burning with monstrous flames. Chapter 248. Both Reverend Ming Liang and Wu Kongxue have forgotten about one power, the loose demons of the wilderness on the Qianlong continent. Because these powers of the wilderness rarely get into action, the loose immortals and loose devils of the Tanglong continent simply do not know much about them. In a mortal house on the Tanglong continent, there are 4 people. One of them looks exactly like Reverend Ming Liang. With a shake of his body, this Reverend Ming Liang turns into the ruler of the wilderness's demon clan, Yu Liang. Lord Yu Liang, after you killed 1,000 loose devils in one breath, now everything is just as you expected. Those loose devils can't hold back anymore. Kong Chao, the head of the 3 giant demons under Yu Liang's command, says smilingly. Yu Liang gives an indifferent smile. Those loose practitioners of the Tenglong continent only enter the chaotic astral ocean to practice. How many of them have been to the wilderness? They're not familiar with the wilderness at all, nor are they familiar with our power. It'd be strange if they didn't suffer losses. In the mortal world, are the Dragon Clan leader Fong Tian and the master of the Devil Pang Island Zong Ju really the only ones faster than Reverend Ming Liang? Yu Liang, the ruler of the wilderness, is not much slower than Fong Tian in terms of speed. Lord Yu Liang, perhaps only the Devil Pang Island Zong Ju can surpass you in terms of speed in the entire mortal world. Xing Shou, a lightning leopard of the three giant demons, says smilingly. Xing Shou is also famous for his speed, but in front of Yu Liang, he feels inferior. A rat is a kind of weak animal. The emperor of rats, the heavenly rat, however, is a high-class divine beast with hereditary memories. The reason why the heavenly rat has the word heavenly in it is firstly because it is extremely fast. Secondly, because it has a unique offensive magic. Yu Liang, a 12th tribulation high-class divine beast, is a heavenly rat. Super divine beasts such as the five-clawed golden dragon are formidable, but they are not very good at speed. At most, they are about the same as Yu Liang. When Yu Liang pretended to be Reverend Ming Liang, even Wu Kongxue could not distinguish him. Super divine beasts such as the golden-winged great roc are best at speed. Only Zong Ju can make Yu Liang admit that he is no match for him in terms of speed. The loose practitioners of the Tang continent generally enter the chaotic astral ocean after the fourth tribulation. They are very familiar with the powers in the chaotic astral ocean. However, he knows almost nothing about our great desolate world. This time, we're going to let these loose practitioners know the power of the loose demons of the wilderness. Yu Liang's smile is very brilliant, but his small eyes flash with cold light. Under the command of Dame Lian Yu, several tens of thousands of loose devils are majestically flying towards Mount Qingshu. In the sky, countless loose devils are densely packed like locusts, covering the entire sky. Almost no cultivator dared to approach that monstrous demonic aura. Lian Yu, Huaremo, this time we've led the majority of loose devil experts to kill our way over. I believe that Ming Liang will definitely receive the news before we arrive. When the time came, they would be ready to defend themselves. So, I've decided that Wu Hei and I will go to Mount Qingshu first to kill them and catch them off guard. There is a hint of red light in Wu Kongshue's eyes. Dame Lian Yu and Fire Devil's eyes brightened. That's a good idea. Once Lord Wu Kongxue and Big Brother Wu Hei use teleportation, I believe they'll be able to reach Mount Qingshu very quickly. At that time, they definitely won't be ready yet. Let's kill them first. When there are no more benefits, Lord Wu Kongxue and Big Brother Wu Hei will come back to join us. Dame Lian Yu approves very much. Wu Hei and Wu Kongxue exchange a look. A hint of cruelty flashes through their eyes. Immediately, the two of them disappear into thin air. Whether it is the Black Devil Path, the Blood Devil Path or the Azure Devil Path, the three great devil paths of the devil world are all cultivation methods with extremely strong killing intent. At the moment, Qin Yu has already been on his way to Mount Qingshu. When Qin Yu heard the cheers of those loose devils, he understood that this army of loose devils was definitely going to attack Mount Qingshu. Therefore, Qin Yu took action in advance. Fei, Xiaohei, Shirexian, you guys come out. There's going to be a good show to watch. With a thought, Qin Yu summons Ho Fei and the others out of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Ho Fei says with brightening eyes, "Good show? What good show?" Kuro also looks at Qin Yu. The loose immortal side and the loose devil side are about to fight. Don't you think it's a good show? Qin Yu says smilingly. There are several tens of thousands of loose practitioners on both sides. That's a large-scale battle. Ho Fei stares. Several tens of thousands of loose immortals and several tens of thousands of loose practitioners fighting each other? Let's go, big brother. Where's the battlefield? Let's go quickly. Just thinking about it makes him excited. Loose practitioners covering the sky and covering the earth kill each other. That scene is definitely many times more shocking than a tribulation. Even Kuro, Shurexin and the others are excited. The battlefield is on Mount Qingshu. Follow me. After saying so, Qinyu takes the lead to fly towards Mount Qingshu. Ho Fei, Kuro, the Ink Qilin and the others all follow Qinyu to Mount Qingshu. According to Qinyu's thinking, since he set off in advance, the battle should not have started when he arrived at Mount Qingshu. But they are still very far away from Mount Qingshu. Mount Qingshu, which has been covered by snowflakes, is no longer snow-white as usual. Instead, it is blood-red. Mount Qingshu is covered by a thick layer of red blood clouds. Miserable cries are also heard non-stop. Given Wu Kongshue's power, there are 6 Tribulation Loose Immortals in Heavenly Palace inside the Qingshu Mountain's 10 Development Illusionary Formation, but outside the formation, there are only some ordinary disciples and some Loose Immortals below the 6th Tribulation in the Qingshu Temple. These Loose Immortals are completely powerless in front of Wu Kongshue. As countless blood clouds float by, the disciples below the Deshang stage are all turned into pools of blood. Those above the Deshang stage can only resist for a while. Miserable cries, shouts, angry roars. At the moment, Wu Hei, who has turned into a 5 to 6 m tall giant, is holding a huge black axe and going on a rampage like a fortress. Whether it is people or buildings, Wu Hei just goes on a rampage. In just a moment, countless people have been killed by him. Palaces have collapsed, flowers and plants have been scorched black, broken limbs are all over the ground, and blood flows all over the Qingshu Temple like running water. In just a while, the number of dead people has reached a terrifying number. Wu Kongshue, Wu Hei, you've gone too far. Reverend Ming Liang, who has always been calm, immediately becomes furious when he discovers the tragic situation of the Qingshu Temple below. He rushes out of Heavenly Palace directly towards Wu Kongshue, who is wantonly slaughtering. Reverend Ming Shan, Reverend Lan Bing, Reverend Qi Yang and Shui Yuyang all rush out one after another. This is a greeting gift. The real battle is coming. Wu Kongshue dodges in a flash. It seems he simply does not want to fight Reverend Ming Liang. Wu Hei, let's go. Wu Kongshue and Wu Hei fly away from Mount Qingshu directly. Now that Wu Kongshue and Wu Hei have joined forces, it is almost impossible for Reverend Ming Liang and the others to stop them. Moreover, he still remembers what Wu Kongshue said just now. The information is correct. The loose devils are really going to start a battle. Reverend Ming Liang is furious in his heart. But at this moment, Shan Yen flies up. He says with a serious expression, "Uncle, just now, in a short while, nearly 20,000 of our Qingshu Temple's disciples died. Several thousand of those low-level loose immortals have also died." 20,000? Reverend Ming Liang only feels a pain in his heart. The Qingshu Temple has always been very strict in recruiting disciples, so it has always had much fewer disciples than the Xiang School and the Lanyong School, only 60,000 to 70,000 in total. Losing 20,000 in a short while is equivalent to losing a third of that number. A school's future depends on these basic disciples. If the foundation is lost, a school will not be far away. Shan Yen, listen up. Move 10,000 of our Qingshu Temple's elite disciples into the 10 Development Illusionary Formation and let them squeeze together in the open space in front of Heavenly Palace. Yes. Shan Yen is overjoyed. The range of the 10 Development Illusionary Formation is only so large. Because there are a large number of 6th Tribulation Loose Immortals living inside, it will be really crowded if 10,000 people squeeze into it. Reverend Ming Liang has no choice. No matter what, his Qingshu Temple's elite disciples cannot have any accidents. They are the future of the school. Reverend Qi Yang and the others also do not say anything. After all, the 10 Development Illusionary Formation was originally the Qingshu Temple's Great Formation. What right do you have to criticize them for doing this? Reverend Qi Yang, fellow Taoist Shui Yuyang, now the loose devil army is coming to attack. How should we deal with it? Reverend Ming Liang asks Reverend Qi Yang and Shui Yuyang. Reverend Qi Yang and Shui Yuyang are very powerful, but they are the #1 experts of the Xiang School and the Lanyong School respectively. This is the reason why Reverend Ming Liang asked them before making a decision. Shui Yuyang says with a frown, The enemy is coming aggressively. If we really fight, blood will flow like a river. Humph, it's already flowing like a river. Reverend Qi Yang says coldly. Look, now how many people have died at Mount Qingshu? The enemy is already at our door, but we still have to hide in the 10 development illusionary formation. Perhaps when the time comes, the entire Tanglong continent and even the chaotic astral ocean will laugh at us. Shui Yuyang's expression freezes. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes flash with coldness. The enemy is already at our door. If we continue to be timid, we won't have any face left to live. Good, since they dared to come, we'll let them know our power. Qin Yu's group of 7 is on a small mountain 1,000 li away from Mount Qingshu. Given their power, they can naturally observe what is going on at Mount Qingshu using their holy sense. At the moment, not only Qin Yu's group of 7, but also many other Zionist, no matter whether they are powerful or weak, or some hermit experts are watching a good show in the distance. Yu Liang's group is one of them. Several tens of thousands of loose immortals against several tens of thousands of loose devils. What kind of scene is this? Many loose practitioners have never seen such a wonderful scene in their lives, so it is not strange that it has attracted a large number of Zionists to watch. The loose immortals seem to be setting up a large offensive formation at the very front of Mount Qingshu. There are 10,000 low-level loose immortals joining forces. The Ink Qilin is the first to say. Qin Yu and the others nod. At the moment, the loose immortals are not hiding anything at all because Reverend Ming Liang also knows that no matter what kind of formation it is, it cannot be concealed in front of Wu Kongxue and the others. Moreover, such an offensive formation does not need to be concealed at all. An offensive formation of 10,000 loose immortals. What a big move. Qin Yu cannot help praising in his heart. However, at this moment, a fierce wind rises. The snowflakes on the surface of Mount Qingshu unexpectedly float up. At the same time, various air-piercing sounds are heard. In the sky, a dense mass of human silhouettes has covered the entire sky like a black cloud. That sky-reaching devil energy even scares the Zionists down below, who are preparing to watch a good show, half to death. It's time to fight. Qin Yu's eyes glitter. He murmurs in a low voice, "Warriors, fight to your heart's content. After the fight, I'll give you a big gift." Qin Yu is delighted in his heart. He is in the mood to watch a good show. He watches the countless loose devils in the sky fly until they are several li away from Mount Qingshu. The loose immortal camp and the loose devil camp, all of a sudden, the two camps shine with dazzling light almost at the same time. One is bright silver and the other is bluish-black. The bright silver light is an attack from the large offensive formation of 10,000 loose immortals on the loose immortal side. The other is an offensive formation of about several thousand loose devils on the loose devil side. The two rays of light both turn into two extremely thin beams of light and collide with each other. There is no sound at all. At the place where the bright lights collide, the space is instantly shattered. A spatial crack as tall as 7 or 8 people appears. That spatial crack gives off a monstrous suction force. Everything within several hundred meters of the spatial crack, be it soil, snow, or sand, is swallowed up by it directly. Afterwards, the spatial crack returns to normal. Kill. Sounds of fighting suddenly come from the other side of Mount Qingshu. Those shouts and sky-reaching devil energy indicate that a team of loose devils is charging at Mount Qingshu from behind. There are also loose immortals on Mount Qingshu's side fighting against that team of loose devils. Kill. Don't worry about anything. Everybody, kill to your heart's content. Wu Kongxue roars like crazy. Immediately, Wu Kongxue rushes towards Mount Qingshu on a huge layer of blood-red clouds within several li of him. At the same time, various loose devils charge towards Mount Qingshu while laughing coldly and howling. Zionists are not an army. If they fight like an army, their fighting power will be restricted instead. On the contrary, if they all use their own means, the effect will be very good. Damn it, it's 3 against 1. Go to hell. A loose devil lets out a howl and explodes. The 3 loose immortals of the same level surrounding him are also killed on the spot by the explosion. Wang Lian, today we must avenge what happened 500 years ago. A loose devil looks angrily at a loose immortal in front of him. This loose immortal also focuses his attention on the loose devil. The two of them have decided to fight to the death. However, poof. A flying sword shot out from an unknown place pierces the loose devil's Yuanying, killing him on the spot. This loose devil has forgotten that this is a battlefield where several tens of thousands of loose practitioners are fighting. Wanting to fight on the battlefield is simply courting death. Flying swords, flames, blood, fighting underground, fighting in the sky, fighting everywhere on Mount Qingshu. Occasionally, space even shatters, swallowing loose immortals in the surroundings who cannot dodge in time. The ordinary Zayashinists who are watching all this in the distance are all dumbfounded. Such a crazy fight between several tens of thousands of loose practitioners is really a bit too tragic. Qin Yu, Ho Fei, Kuro and the others all hold their breaths. This fight is really too tragic. Which loose immortal does not have some special means? Various kinds of spells, restrictive spells, holy weapons, immortal weapons and mysterious formations. In the sky, on the mountain and under the ground, fighting is everywhere. Blood has dyed the sky, the mountains and the snowy ground red. Explosions are heard almost unceasingly, as if thousands of thunderbolts are striking down. Chapter 249. Several tens of thousands of loose practitioners are fighting each other. Bursts of explosions reflect the sky, sometimes red, sometimes purple, sometimes black. The entire sky is like a big furnace. Mount Qingshu is covered with corpses. Blood slowly flows and converges into a small stream, but it is instantly scorched black by some blazing energy. Ha ha, delightful, delightful. Several hundred meters around Wu Kongshue's body is a frighteningly dense blood cloud. Wherever this huge blood cloud floats, those loose practitioners all try their best to avoid it. Both loose immortals and their own loose devils all stay far away from it. However, Wu Kongshue's speed is really too fast. How can those loose immortals escape as they wish? One loose immortal after another is sucked into that blood cloud. Immediately afterwards, they turn into a pile of flesh and blood and fuse directly with it, making that blood cloud smell of blood even thicker. Wu Kongshue's complacent and wild laughter also becomes even louder. Similarly, Reverend Ming Liang is shuttling back and forth like a sharp sword. Wherever he goes, those loose devils are all killed. They simply have no power to resist. Ming Liang. Wu Kongshue's murderous voice rises. That huge blood cloud stops in front of Reverend Ming Liang. At the same time, it starts to shrink slowly. In the end, it turns into a large blood-red robe that drapes itself over Wu Kongshue's body. Wu Kongshue looks at Reverend Ming Liang. His eyes flash with a blazing desire to fight. Wu Kongshue. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes are cold. Why are you doing this? I ask myself, I haven't done anything to your side of loose devils. Why did you mobilize all of your loose devils to attack our Mount Qingshu? Could it be you want to risk your life like this for the sake of that Ni Yang realm that simply doesn't belong to us? It would have been better if he had not said anything. Now that he has said this, Wu Kongshue becomes even angrier. You haven't done anything? Just half a day ago, you went to the Inoue Palace and killed 1,000 loose devils in one breath. You even said, killing 1,000 loose devils can be considered even with Wu Hei killing you, Reverend Qi Yan. Wu Kongshue's anger starts to rise. You had the guts to do it, but you still won't admit it? Reverend Ming Liang has never been wronged. He immediately becomes angry in his heart. Suddenly, his heart is moved. Wu Kongshue, can you guarantee that what you said is true? Half a day ago, there was indeed a Reverend Ming Liang who went to kill your 1,000 loose devils? Reverend Ming Liang asks. Wu Kongshue gives a cold laugh. That's only natural. Do you think I'll lie? You can ask any loose devil of the Inoue Palace and you'll know the truth of the matter. Ah, I know. Someone is trying to sow discord. Someone must have instigated it. At this moment, Reverend Ming Liang is incomparably clear-headed. Wu Kongshue, Both of us don't want to fight each other for the sake of Ni Yang's realm, which doesn't belong to us. But someone wants us to fight each other. Looking at it now, there is definitely someone who is secretly instigating discord. Wu Kongshue's heart jolts. He also remembered that Wu Hei had said that Wu Hei did not kill Reverend Qi Yen. But who killed Reverend Qi Yen? Someone is secretly sowing discord? Wu Kongshue also came to this conclusion in his mind. However, as Wu Kongshue sweeps his eyes over Mount Qingshu and the countless figures fighting in the sky and on the ground, he knows that it is impossible to stop now. Perhaps every loose devil has become bloodshot because quite a few of their good friends have been killed by the enemy. It was the same for the loose immortals. Up until now, a large number of loose immortals had died. The surviving loose immortals also hated the loose devil in front of them. If they're dead, they're dead. It has nothing to do with me. Wu Kongshue laughs coldly in his mind. Wu Kongshue still remembers the days when he practiced in the past. At that time, he was a Xiaomo who was hated by everyone. He was a Xiaomo who roamed the world alone and killed people for their treasures and was cruel and bloodthirsty. Luckily, in the end, he obtained a precious book of the Blood Devil Path. Only then did he have a meteoric rise and become a giant of the Xiaomo path. It doesn't matter if the senior loose practitioners of these schools on the Tenglong continent die. Now that they're dead, the status of the big Xiaomo schools on the Tenglong continent will probably plummet. Many small schools will probably rise up. The Tenglong continent can't always be controlled by those big schools. It's time for a change. Reverend Ming Liang looks at Wu Kongshue, hoping that he will stop fighting. More than half of the buildings on Mount Qingshu have been destroyed in this battle. As time goes by, more and more disciples of the Qingshu Temple have also died. The only peaceful place on the entire Mount Qingshu is the area of the 10 Development Illusionary Formation. Instigation? Ming Liang, you're a 12th Tribulation Loose Immortal, the number 1 figure on the Loose Immortal side. You've done something but you don't even dare to admit it. When you killed 1,000 loose devils and fled, I saw your speed with my own eyes. In this world, how many can be as fast as you? Perhaps only the master of the Devil Pung Island and the Dragon Clan's chief can be. What kind of status do you think the master of the Devil Pung Island and the Dragon Clan's chief have? How could they possibly impersonate you? Ming Liang, now you don't have to quibble anymore. Wu Kongshue's words have directly shattered the only reason for stopping fighting. Kill. This is also what Wu Kongshue is looking forward to at the moment. No matter how many loose devils die, it will have nothing to do with him. As long as nothing happens to the heaven sundering diagram, when the devil emissary descends to the mortal world, he will have done a great service by handing it to him. Wu Kongshue, you're stubborn. Reverend Ming Liang is extremely furious. Wu Kongshue gives a cold laugh. You're extremely noisy. If you want to fight, just fight. Why are you talking so much nonsense? After saying, Wu Kongshue's body starts to radiate a dazzling blood-red light. That blood-red light starts to converge on his right palm. Reverend Ming Liang gives a cold humph. His whole body also radiates a dazzling silvery white light. At the same time, that light also converges on his right hand's fingers. Blood Devil, Crescent Moon Blade. Wu Kongshue suddenly waved his hand. An extremely thin, extremely fine blood-red blade with the shape of a crescent moon was shot through the air. Everywhere it passed, the space started to tremble and tear apart. Point Star, Sky Piercer. Reverend Ming Liang uses the special move he used to force Wu Kongshue to retreat in the Qianlong continent's ocean area. An extremely fine point of light shoots out from his index finger. That point of light is extremely condensed and shoots straight at Wu Kongshue. In the sky above Mount Qingshu, that red light and that silvery white light lightly collide, but at the same time, they disappear as if they have never appeared. But in just a while, the space within several hundred meters of them starts to tremble violently. Wu Kongshue's and Reverend Ming Liang's faces both change color greatly. Without prior consultation, the two of them start to flee frantically in opposite directions. Bang! Like a broken mirror, a huge black chasm appears in the several hundred meters of space. That black chasm is several hundred meters long and several meters wide. The suction force of such a huge spatial chasm is simply extremely great. Ah! Various miserable cries are heard. Over 1,000 loose practitioners within several thousand meters of them are swallowed up by that black chasm without being able to resist at all. Through that black chasm, one can even see the chaotic energies of various colors in that spatial chasm. If you draw a knife to cut water, it will flow even faster. Even though the space has been torn apart, in just a while, that black chasm is repaired at an extremely fast speed and the space returns to normal. The endurance of the mortal world space is only so strong. Therefore, it is not strange for two 12th tribulation super-experts to cause spatial tears when they fight with all their strength. Reverend Ming Liang, now nearly 20,000 loose immortals have died. Even nearly 20% of the 6th tribulation loose immortals have died. Shui Yuyang flies to Reverend Ming Liang and says, he really cannot watch so many loose practitioners die one by one. Reverend Ming Liang looks at the surrounding loose devils and loose immortals who are fighting desperately. He clenches his teeth fiercely and curses, which is rare for him. Wu Kongxue is a bastard. He's not a loose devil of the Tenglong continent at all. Why would he care about the lives of loose devils? He doesn't care, but we do. Pass down my order. All the surviving loose immortals will enter the 10 development illusionary formation. I'll personally take charge of it. Also, the space inside the 10 development illusionary formation is limited. It'll be a bit difficult for so many loose immortals to get in. In this way, several more loose immortals will live in each room of Heavenly Palace. Originally there was only one loose immortal, but now there are 4 or 5 loose immortals. At this critical moment, we can't care so much. If it's really impossible to live in, let those loose immortals live in the open space or in the air inside the 10 development illusionary formation. Reverend Ming Liang is also very helpless at the moment. The 10 development illusionary formation is only so big so he can only let loose immortals live in it. As the order is transmitted, following the order, all the loose immortals fly directly into the 10 development illusionary formation. Reverend Ming Liang is personally in charge of the 10 development illusionary formation. Any loose immortal who comes in will be directly transported to the inner area. But once those loose devils come in, they will definitely die. Ha, a bunch of cowards. If you have the ability, hide in the 10 development illusionary formation for the rest of your life. Fire Devil stands in front of the 10 development illusionary formation and shouts loudly. On the loose devil side, monstrous cries of excitement rise. Countless loose immortals have been beaten into fleeing into the 10 development illusionary formation, which makes them very happy in their hearts. On the Tenglong continent, the loose immortal side and the loose devil side are basically on par with each other. When did the loose devil side gain such an advantage and force the loose immortals into a formation? The blood clouds around Wu Kongxue turn into a blood-red robe. The robe flutters in the wind. Wu Kongxue stands in midair and says in a clear voice, Ming Liang brat, if you have the patience, you can live in the 10 development illusionary formation for the rest of your life. Us loose devil brothers have decided to stay on Mount Qingshu. Ha. Mount Qingshu's arrangement is really not bad. After going through such a battle, only 40 to 50% of Mount Qingshu has been destroyed. Too bad. From now on Mount Qingshu will be our territory. Inside the 10 development illusionary formation, Reverend Ming Liang is so angry that his entire face reddens, but he forcibly restrains himself. Mount Qingshu, this is the Qingshu Temple's headquarters for 1,000,000 years. For 1,000,000 years, who knows how many senior experts have set up all kinds of restrictive spells and formations on Mount Qingshu, as well as all kinds of secret methods to protect the mountain gate. Even though the loose immortals have fought a great battle, some of the most important places of Mount Qingshu have not been destroyed. But the Zayashinists who have been watching this legendary battle from the beginning to the end have all begun to leave secretly, crestfallen. As for the location where Qin Yu, Hou Fei and them were originally at, the 3 brothers were no longer there. They had already left. Big brother, what do you want to do in the end? The battle hasn't ended yet, but you've already told us to rush to the Yingyue Palace. What do you want to do? Hou Fei is very doubtful. Qin Yu gives a mysterious smile. It won't be good if the battle has ended. We have to take advantage of the time when they're fighting. Only then will this good show be even more wonderful. What do you mean? Not only Hou Fei, but also Kuro, the Ink Qilin and the three Shi brothers occasionally look doubtfully at Qin Yu. Qin Yu looks at the Inoue Palace not far away. Fei, Xiaohei. My Qin clan has been passed down for 1,000 years. Even when the Qin dynasty established by Qin Shi Huang was destroyed, my clan was still preserved very well. However, when it came to my generation, because of me, the Qin clan was on the verge of extinction. How can I face my father and second brother? So many of his sons, daughters and wives have died. How can I face him? It's all because of me. If I hadn't obtained the heaven-sundering diagram, none of this would have happened. Qin Yu looks at the mountain range where the Inoue Palace is located in the distance. His eyes are filled with killing intent. The loose devils and loose immortals dared to fight in the imperial palace of the Qin dynasty without the slightest care and almost exterminated my clan. Then, I'll also leave them with a lasting memory. Qin Yu's body turns into a beam of light and flies directly to the sky above the Inoue Palace. In the distance, Hou Fei, Kuro and the others are all astonished. They still don't know what Qin Yu is going to do. Who's there? A furious voice rises from below. A loose devil rushes up. Who's there? I'm going to exterminate your Inoue Palace. Qin Yu shouts loudly and angrily. At the same time, his body is instantly surrounded by monstrous heavenly flames. The heavenly flames cover an area of nearly 10 meters. Surrounded by the heavenly flames, Qin Yu's eyes glitter with ruthlessness. Inoue Palace, I'll let you have a taste of the heavenly flames' power. The heavenly flames around Qin Yu unexpectedly turn into masses of heavenly flames. These masses of heavenly flames immediately separate from Qin Yu's surroundings and smash down towards the Inoue Palace's mountain range below. Each mass of heavenly flames is 1 meter in diameter. Qin Yu is like a heavenly flame launcher. With Qin Yu as the center, several hundred masses of heavenly flames have been smashed out in the blink of an eye. Moreover, the heavenly flames continue to be smashed out at a terrifying speed, as if Qin Yu's heavenly flames are simply inexhaustible. The Lord of Black Flame's ring contains fire attribute energy, which can be used by even higher-level golden immortals without any problem. Qin Yu has only mobilized the heavenly flames and smashed them out. Even if Qin Yu uses the heavenly flames with all his might, perhaps he won't be able to consume even 1/10,000 of the heavenly flames in the Lord of Black Flame's ring. In just a while, heavenly fireballs seem to fall from the sky and cover the entire mountain range as well as the Inoue Palace. Before the loose immortals guarding the Inoue Palace have time to react, a devastating disaster has already arrived. Chapter 250. The Inoue Palace has a long history of 1,000,000 years. Very few people know the original name of the mountain range it occupies. Almost all the Zayashinists on the entire Tanglong continent call this continuous mountain range the Inoue Mountain Range. This time over 90% of the Loose Devil army has been dispatched. Only several thousand Loose Devils stay behind to guard the Inoue Palace. Moreover, most of these several thousand Loose Devils are at the First Tribulation Stage, Second Tribulation Stage and Third Tribulation Stage. There are only several hundred Fourth Tribulation Loose Devils in total and only 2 or 3 Eighth Tribulation Loose Devils. In the opinion of the Loose Devils, their army has already charged towards Mount Qingshu to fight the Loose Immortals, so who will attack the Inoue Palace? Even though several thousand Loose Devils is not a lot, few powers can break through the Inoue Palace either. Both the Chaotic Astral Ocean and the Dragon Clan have this power. But if the Chaotic Astral Ocean and the Dragon Clan want to get into action, it will be useless no matter how many Loose Devils stay behind to guard the Inoue Palace. Various disciples of the Inoue Palace are practicing. Quite a few Loose Devils are also practicing quietly. However, what's going on? A disciple of the Inoue Palace raises his head and notices a huge purple fireball falling from the sky. As soon as the purple fireball hits the ground, it immediately burns the vegetation, rocks and buildings. Everything in the surroundings is set ablaze. The disciple of the Inoue Palace is frightened inside. What kind of flame is this? It's purple. Could it be the heavenly flame? The disciple's face changes color greatly. However, at this moment, this disciple of the Inoue Palace finds that the sky is already filled with countless fireballs. With a glance, he can see that the number of purple fireballs is at least over 1,000. They are densely packed, and huge purple fireballs are smashing down one after another. Ah! A miserable cry rises. Ordinary Duja stage Zyashinists simply do not have the ability to resist the heavenly flame, unless they have special treasures. Even Deshang stage Zyashinists can resist one or two of the heavenly flame at most. Once surrounded, they will definitely die. The heavenly flame is the flame used to forge immortal weapons, so naturally it is extremely powerful. It can even melt some immortal weapons and ores, not to mention ordinary rocks. The entire Inoue Palace is burned to ashes by the heavenly flame very quickly. The heavenly flame flies rapidly in all directions along the various buildings, woods and rocks on the ground. In the sky, more and more purple fireballs were constantly being thrown down. For a moment, the sky was filled with purple fireballs and the ground was covered with purple flames. Once the disciples of the Inoue Palace touched them, they would be directly burned to death. Even their yuanying would be burned to a crisp. Heavenly fire! It's heavenly fire! Run, run! There are no heavenly flames in the west. Let's go to the west. Every one of the terrified Xiamoists frantically ran away in all directions. At the same time, they were also extremely careful. This was because the heavenly fire could not be touched at all. Once touched by the heavenly fire, it would burn one's body to ashes in the blink of an eye. Qin Yu was only one person. Although the heavenly fire was crazily pouring down as if it didn't cost money, Qin Yu was only one person. Even though Qin Yu could throw out hundreds and thousands of fireballs in the blink of an eye. However, the Inoue mountain range is really very big. Many disciples were originally in some corner of the Inoue mountain range. Therefore, an extremely small number of disciples of the Inoue Palace managed to escape. However, the devil cultivators in the inner region of the mountain range were not so lucky. One by one, they were turned into nothingness by the heavenly fire. Under the heavenly fire that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, even a fourth tribulation loose devil has to be lucky enough to escape with his life. In the past, Dame Yen-ji was only able to resist the heavenly fire a few times at most. Now the heavenly fire has blotted out the sky and covered the earth. If a fourth tribulation loose devil wants to escape without touching the heavenly fire, the possibility is really too low. Below the fourth tribulation loose devil level, almost 99% of them have died. At the same time, the entire Inoue mountain range has been burned down by the heavenly fire. In just a while, the entire height of the Inoue mountain range has dropped by 3 or 4 meters. These 3 or 4 meters thick rocks have been completely burned to ashes. But the heavenly fire is still burning. The heavenly fire will not stop burning until its energy has been used up. However, the Inoue Palace still has several hundred loose devils who have surpassed the fourth tribulation. Ah, senior brother, the school that has been passed down for 1,000,000 years has been completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. Loose devil Chao Lien goes mad with fury. His eyes are very red. These experts have only noticed the heavenly fire for a while before the whole mountain range starts to burn. Given the power of the heavenly fire, the surface of the Inoue mountain range has been completely destroyed before the loose devils can do anything. Trees? Buildings? Lakes? Flowers and grasses? No, all of them are gone. The entire Inoue mountain range has become completely barren. And the barren Inoue mountain range is still covered with a layer of purple flame. The power of that flame terrifies everybody because it is the heavenly fire. In the blink of an eye, a school that has been passed down for 1,000,000 years has been destroyed. It is needless to say how important a school is to a school. Moreover, almost all of the disciples of the Inoue Palace have been killed. Perhaps only the disciples who were at the border of the Inoue mountain range or who were working outside at the beginning have been able to keep their lives. It has always been us destroying other schools. When has anyone dared to destroy our Inue palace? The enemy is really too treacherous. He took advantage of the fact that Dame Lian Yu and the others went to Mount Qingshu to destroy our Inue palace. Loose Devil Qiao Shan is also furious. The Inue palace is the leader of the Devil Path, so destroying other Xiaxianist schools is nothing to them. But who would have thought that one day their Inue palace would also be destroyed? Since the enemy was able to release the heavenly fire, it means he can at least use the heavenly fire to protect himself. Perhaps fourth tribulation and fifth tribulation loose devils simply can't get close to him. All loose devils over the fifth tribulation, come with me to kill the main culprit. As for the rest of you, run for your lives if you can. Martial nephew Qiao Shan, quickly send this news to Dame and the others. The current leader of the Inue Palace, ninth tribulation loose devil Pei Shui, immediately orders. Loose devil Qiao Shan is startled, saying, "Uncle Master, my transmitter doesn't have Dame's devil sense imprint. Just pass it on to my senior apprentice brother, your master." "Isn't my senior apprentice brother with the Empress and the others?" Pei Shui shouted angrily. Obviously he is angry at Qiao Shan's stupidity. In fact, at the moment Qiao Shan is also frightened because his school has been destroyed and almost all of the disciples of the Inue Palace have been killed. Therefore, his mind has become rigid for a moment. I know. I'll send the message right away," Qiao Shan says hurriedly. Pei Shui shouts at once, "All loose devils over the fifth tribulation, come with me. Let's kill Reverend Heavenly Flame together." Reverend Heavenly Flame? Some loose devils are immediately doubtful. Pei Shui says coldly, "Among the loose practitioners on the Tenglong continent, I've never heard of anyone who can release so much heavenly flame at once. But since he came to destroy our Inue Palace, he must be on the side of loose immortals. What's wrong with calling him Reverend Heavenly Flame for the time being?" It turns out that the name Reverend Heavenly Flame was made up by Pei Shui on his own. "Let's go." Pei Shui shouts coldly, then takes the lead to soar directly into the sky. Immediately, other loose devils follow him closely. The fourth tribulation and fifth tribulation loose devils have already fled for their lives. As for whether they can escape successfully or not, it still depends on their luck. In the sky above the Inue mountain range, Qin Yu is standing in midair. His whole body is bathed in monstrous purple flames, looking like a god of war in flames. At the same time, under the control of Qin Yu, various purple fireballs continuously smash down on the Inue mountain range below. Not far behind Qin Yu, Ho Fei, Kuro, the Ink Qilin and the three Shi brothers are all watching everything. Reverend Heavenly Flame? Turns out he's only a middle Dujie brat. An angry and sarcastic voice rises. At the same time, a black figure shuttles back and forth among the heavenly flames. Even if it is touched by the heavenly flames twice, it is still able to resist them. Seeing all this, Qin Yu's heart is shaken. There is not only one black figure. One figure after another rushes down towards him continuously. Qin Yu immediately smashes the heavenly flame balls madly at these rushing figures. Sixth tribulation loose devils can resist the heavenly flames by relying on their own energy, but this will consume their energy. Besieged by the heavenly flames unceasingly, more than 10 of the rushing figures are burned to death by the heavenly flames because their energy has been consumed. Being able to release so much heavenly flame, it must be because of a natural treasure. The eyes of the leading loose devil, Pei Shui, brighten. Given his power, it is not difficult for a ninth tribulation loose devil like Pei Shui to resist the heavenly flames. A black figure passes through Qin Yu's fireballs and rushes straight at Qin Yu. Qin Yu has a solemn expression on his face. Behind Qin Yu, Ho Fei, Kuro and the others all become slightly nervous. "Big brother, it's about time. Now those rushing up against the heavenly flames are definitely experts. Once we are besieged by them, we'll be in trouble." Kuro is the first to say via holy sense communication. "Don't worry." Qin Yu does not sound nervous at all through holy sense communication. Lucky brat who has obtained a natural treasure that can release heavenly flames, prepare to die. Pei Shui's voice rises in Qin Yu's mind. Loose Devil Pei Shui himself rushes straight into Qin Yu's heavenly flame domain. Like a flash of light, his target is Qin Yu's dantian. Qin Yu remains motionless. Suddenly, a divine light flashed through Qin Yu's unblinking eyes. The Lord of Black Flame's ring. Gravitational domain. As for Pei Shui, it is as if his body has been smashed by a huge mountain all of a sudden. His body cannot help sinking below Qin Yu all of a sudden. At this moment, Qin Yu makes his move. Qin Yu turns his body and slashes downwards headfirst. Middle grade immortal weapon. Puchi. With the sound of flesh being pierced, Qin Yu's middle grade immortal sword pierces through Pei Shui's abdomen. At this moment, Pei Shui looks at Qin Yu with a cold smile. He opens his mouth and, with a yuanying, drives his immortal sword to stab at Qin Yu. With a thought, Qin Yu dispels the gravitational domain in an instant. Originally, Pei Shui consumed a large amount of energy to counteract the influence of the gravitational domain. But at the most critical moment, Qin Yu dispels the gravitational domain in an instant. As a result, Pei Shui's killing move slanted upwards and pierces through Qin Yu's chest directly. Even if I didn't pierce through your yuanying, your body won't be able to survive with just your internal organs. Pei Shui's voice resounds in Qin Yu's mind. For a cultivator, the body is very important. Once the body is destroyed, he can only cultivate as an itinerant immortal. Really? Qin Yu backhandedly grabs Pei Shui's yuanying in his palm. You. Pei Shui's yuanying looks at Qin Yu's chest in disbelief. The wound has disappeared without a trace. Just now, there was a wound the size of a fist. Now, with such a big wound and serious injuries to his internal organs, Qin Yu's body should be finished. But Qin Yu doesn't waste any time. He directly shakes Pei Shui's soul with his energy and then puts the yuanying into the Lord of Black Flame's ring. It takes a long time. In fact, from Pei Shui's attack to Pei Shui's death. In just a breath's time, experts fight. Even though they have attacked each other several times during the fight, in fact, the time consumed is extremely short. Through the reasonable use of the gravitational field and the super recovery ability of the body, Qin Yu has unexpectedly killed a 9th Tribulation Loose Devil. Seeing Pei Shui killed, the other 8th Tribulation Loose Devils, 7th Tribulation Loose Devils and 6th Tribulation Loose Devils are slightly stunned. Uncle Master said something about the middle Dujie stage. Can someone who can kill Uncle Master so quickly be at the middle Dujie stage? This expert must be very powerful, so powerful that even Uncle Master can't see through his power. Otherwise he wouldn't have said he was at the middle Dujie stage. 8th Tribulation Loose Devil Qiao Yu thinks to himself. At the moment, in a hall somewhere on Mount Qingshu, Dame Lian Yu, Fire Devil, Wu Kongxue and the others are present. At the same time, there is also a 10th Tribulation Loose Devil, Pei Yan. This Pei Yan is Qiao Shan's master. Pei Yan, say that again. Dame Lian Yu suddenly stands up. Her face has become deathly pale. Pei Yan says in a trembling voice, "It's true, Dame." A loose immortal expert called Reverend Heavenly Flame burned down the entire Inue mountain range with endless heavenly flames. The main gate of my Inue palace has been completely burned down. Except for the disciples at the border of the Inue mountain range and outside, almost all of my Inue palace's disciples have been killed or injured. That Qiao Shan messaged his master about the name Reverend Heavenly Flame, which Pei Shui made up at that time. You must take revenge, Dame. My Inue palace has been passed down for 1,000,000 years. Now the main gate has been completely destroyed. 99% of my disciples have died. The school has almost been exterminated. Tears stream down Pei Yan's face. Dame Lian Yu's whole body is trembling. Her face is pale. A loose immortal expert, Reverend Heavenly Flame. Dame Lian Yu's face is as pale as paper. In an instant, it turns completely red. A trace of blood overflows from the corner of her mouth. Her cold eyes make everybody's heart tremble even more. On one side, the calm Wu Kongshue's face suddenly changes color greatly. Heavenly flames, You said the heavenly flames burned down the entire Inue mountain range? Wu Kongshue's entire body becomes short of breath. Pei Yan nods at once. The heavenly flames covered the entire Inue mountain range. Given the heavenly flames' power, everything was burned down, no matter if it was rocks or flowers. Even the Inue mountain range was burned down by one level. No good, the heaven sundering diagram. Wu Kongshue's face is very unsightly. What's wrong, Lord Wu Kongshue? Didn't we give that heaven sundering diagram to you for safekeeping? Wu Hei and the others look at Wu Kongshue. Wu Kongshue's face is extremely unsightly. I didn't take it with me. I was worried that if experts like the Dragon Clan leader or the master of the Devil Pang Island Zong Ju came to kill me, what would I do if they directly took my heaven sundering diagram? Therefore, I gave the heaven sundering diagram to an ordinary loose devil that I trusted very much. I thought that an ordinary loose devil would definitely go unnoticed. This time, for his safety, I let him stay in the Inue mountain range. The faces of all the loose devils in the hall immediately change color at once. Chapter 251. The loose devil big shots in the hall all start to worry. They even look at Wu Kongshue with a hint of blame in their eyes. The heaven sundering diagram is of great importance. Everyone has given it to Wu Kongshue for safekeeping because they trust his strength. Who would have thought that something like this would happen? Dame Lian Yu has just received the shock of the destruction of the Inue mountain range and the death of 99% of the Inue palace disciples. Now that she had received this news, her complexion couldn't help but turn even paler. Only Dame Lian Yu still appeared to be somewhat calm. Everyone, Lord Wu Kongshue didn't do anything wrong. By taking the heaven sundering diagram with him, once the Dragon Clan's clan leader and the Devil Pang Island's master Zong Ju get into action, they'll be able to seize the heaven sundering diagram easily. If he placed the heaven sundering diagram on an ordinary loose devil, Zong Ju and Fong Tian would not know where the heaven sundering diagram was. What Lord Wu Kongshue did was to protect the heaven sundering diagram. That's not wrong. Hearing Dame Lian Yu's explanation, Wu Kongshue's expression became slightly better. Lian Yu then looks at Wu Kongshue and asks, Lord Wu Kongshue, which level of loose devil did you give the heaven sundering diagram to? His power is not high. He's only a fourth tribulation loose devil. Wu Kongshue gives a forced smile. At that time, I racked my brains to find a person who could keep the heaven sundering diagram. Finally, when I was strolling around the Inue Palace, I met this loose devil and thought he should be reliable. Therefore, I made him swear an oath and placed a restriction on his body. Finally, I gave this heaven sundering diagram to him. Fourth tribulation loose devil. Only the fourth tribulation? The heavenly fire is extremely powerful. A fourth tribulation loose devil can resist it for 2 or 3 times at most. The heavenly flame released by that mysterious reverend heavenly flame has even covered the entire Inue mountain range. Big brother Wu Kongshue, perhaps that ordinary loose devil you taught won't be able to resist it. Fire Devil is worried. Wu Kongshue says helplessly, if I had known that someone was going to set the entire Inue mountain range on fire, I would never have given the heaven sundering diagram to a fourth tribulation loose devil. At first I thought that for experts like Reverend Ming Liang, the Dragon Clan's Fong Tian and the Devil Pang Island's Zong Ju, there is not much difference between a fourth tribulation loose devil, a sixth tribulation loose devil or an eighth tribulation loose devil. Moreover, because there are so many fourth tribulation loose devils, it will be even more difficult for Zong Ju and the others to find them. So I left it to him. All the loose devils sighed helplessly. Hearing Wu Kongshue's reasons, there was no problem at all. For those super experts, there was indeed no difference between 4 tribulations and 6 tribulations. If he hides on the body of a fourth tribulation loose devil, who is better at hiding, it will be even harder to detect him. This was also true. But who would have thought that someone was actually able to set fire to the entire Inue mountain range? All right. Wu Kongshue's face turns cold. It's too late to say anything now, but there's one thing we must do. That was to find the heaven sundering diagram. Fire Devil, some 10th tribulation loose devils and 9th tribulation loose devils also come with me. We'll teleport to the Inue mountain range first. Dame Lianyu nods and says, "Alright, you guys go first. I don't think we can hide this matter from Reverend Ming Liang. Soon, we will also set off." Wu Kongxue nods. Immediately, Wu Kongxue, Fire Devil, 4 10th Tribulation Loose Devils and 6 9th Tribulation Loose Devils appear in the hall. They immediately disappeared from the hall. They were already rushing towards the Inue Mountains as fast as they could. No matter what, they had to get the heaven-sundering diagram back. A layer of purple flames is burning on the surface of the Inue mountain range, but at the moment the purple flames have already weakened a lot. Moreover, the height of the Inue mountain range as a whole has been forcibly reduced by 10 m. Countless flowers, plants, trees and rocks in this 10 m thick area have all been reduced to ashes. It seems that the remaining heavenly flames can still burn down at least 2 to 3 m of the mountain range. This means that the Inue mountain range has been shaved off by a 10 m layer. All the palaces and so on above have disappeared. However, at the moment, a fierce battle is taking place in the sky above the Inue mountain range. Don't get close to Reverend Heavenly Flame. His close combat power is extremely strong. Loose Devil Chow Yu shouts loudly. After paying the price of an 8th Tribulation Loose Devil and a 7th Tribulation Loose Devil, these Loose Devils finally realize that these Loose Devils have finally discovered that these Loose Devils have finally started to fight. These Loose Devils have finally discovered the strangeness of Qin Yu's close-quarters combat. They start to use various restrictive spells, talismans and even long-distance flying sword attacks. As a result, Qin Yu's 2 fields of the Lord of Black Flames ring are almost useless. After all, both the field of heavenly flames and the field of gravity have a limited range. Those Loose Devils are all outside the range, so naturally Qin Yu is unable to affect them. In close combat, relying on the 2 fields and his body's super recovery power, Qin Yu has even caused a careless 9th Tribulation Loose Devil to lose his life. But when it comes to long-distance attacks, Qin Yu will find it strenuous even when facing an 8th Tribulation Loose Devil. There are a lot of Loose Devils in the surroundings. Hou Fei and Kuro are a bit better off than Qin Yu. The 2 of them have strange body movements. At the same time, the cloud-piercing spear and the black stick both have an unbelievably hardness. Even a low-grade immortal weapon can be smashed to pieces by them. But once the 2 brothers are besieged by more than 10 7th Tribulation Loose Devils using formations, their hands and feet are immediately tied. This is bad. Qin Yu's expression is somewhat unsightly. Whether it's me, Fei or Xiao Hei, we're all best at close combat. In terms of speed, we're much faster than experts of the same level. But compared to 8th Tribulation Loose practitioners, we basically don't have much of an advantage. But if these Loose Devils go all out, they can definitely seriously injure us. They're stalling for time. Qin Yu understands completely in his heart. When he was besieged by so many Loose Devils at the beginning, they wanted him to be in the middle of the battle, so he simply had no time to think carefully about the situation on the field. If his guess is correct, what happened on the Inue mountain range must have already reached Wu Kongxue. Fight Wu Kongxue head-on? I only have 1 piece of top-grade elemental holy rock. If I go all out, I can indeed kill Wu Kongxue, but how can I kill Reverend Ming Liang? I can only endure for a while longer. I hope things can develop as I think. Qin Yu sweeps around with his eyes. The situation on the field is under his control. Fei, Xiao Hei, get ready to enter the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Sure Xian, you 3 brothers also don't resist the suction force of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Qin Yu tells the others through holy sense communication. As for the Ink Qilin, he has already entered the Qingyu Immortal Mansion at the beginning. At that time, those Loose Devils were even suspicious of him. Hearing Qin Yu's holy sense communication, Hou Fei knows that he cannot continue fighting like this. If he does, he may really be caught by the enemy. Damn it, take this stick of your Lord Marquis. Hou Fei seizes the last moment of the battle to unleash his most powerful fighting power. That black stick, carrying a force of 10 million caddies, cuts through the air turbulence and smashes fiercely at a 7th Tribulation Loose Devil. That seventh tribulation loose devil flies backwards without even thinking about it. Now these loose devils all know that when fighting this group of people in front of them, attacking will not do them any good. Only long-range attacks will work. Qin Yu suddenly shouts in a low voice. His entire body rushes towards those loose devils who are besieging Hou Fei and Kuro like a huge fireball. Those loose devils all fly backwards. Now they know that no matter what, they must not approach this reverend heavenly flame. Even now they still do not know Qin Yu's true identity. Let's go. Qin Yu flies in front of the two brothers. With a thought, Hou Fei and Kuro directly enter the Qingyu immortal mansion. Seeing two living people suddenly disappear like this, the faces of those loose devils are full of disbelief. It should be known that space is already very unstable when so many loose devils are fighting. Using teleportation in an unstable situation is no different from courting death. Seeing Hou Fei and Qin Yu disappear, those loose devils think that they have teleported. But this time the three brothers Shi Xian, Shi Bing and Shi Zhan have a very good battle record. The mystic eyeballs in their bodies naturally form a mystic ice battle armor, which has a terrifyingly strong defense. In addition, the mystic eyeballs naturally form a mystic ice realm. Because of the special environment of the mystic ice realm, the offensive power of those who are trapped by the three brothers is sharply reduced. But the three brothers are mystic ice lions, whose power has increased in the current environment. For defense, they have the mystic ice battle armor and the mystic ice realm, which is an advantageous environment for the three of them, plus the astonishing penetrating power of the low-grade immortal weapon sword tip all. The three extreme ice lions actually tortured 5 or 6 7th tribulation loose practitioners trapped in the extreme ice realm to death slowly, but the three brothers were also injured. Hearing Qin Yu's sound transmission, the three brothers immediately begin to withdraw the mystic ice realm. And at the same time that they withdrew, Qin Yu, like a fireball, rushed toward them with extreme speed. Let's go. Qin Yu shouts in a low voice. The three brothers simply do not resist the attractive power of the Qingyu immortal mansion. The three of them disappear into thin air. Another 3 suicidal ones. Those loose devils are dumbfounded. In such a chaotic space in the middle of a battlefield, just now 2 people teleported, that's one thing. But now 3 more people teleported. Are they courting death? Among them, only Reverend Heavenly Flame isn't an idiot. Xiao Yu and the other loose devils all think so. Don't let Reverend Heavenly Flame run away. Otherwise it'll be terrible if they don't see the murderer when they come back. Xiao Yu tells the other loose devils through his devil sense. They immediately release all kinds of restrictive spells and talismans and start to attack together. However, Qin Yu naturally does not want to continue fighting. He immediately dives downwards. Qin Yu is obviously trying to escape. But those loose devils all know Qin Yu's close combat power, so they are unwilling to fight Qin Yu in close combat. They only chase after Qin Yu from a distance. But when Qin Yu is running away and the other loose devils are about to chase after him, a huge aura suddenly presses down from the sky. Whose Reverend Heavenly Flame? A deep and gloomy voice that contained anger resounded through the heaven and earth. At the same time, the sky above Qin Yu was covered by a blood cloud. That bloody smell made Qin Yu feel uncomfortable when he smelled it. No good. Now there are so many blood clouds. It should be the legendary number 1 of the Xiumao path, Wu Kongxue. If he catches up with me, I won't have any hope of escaping alive. Just from his aura alone, Qin Yu has already determined that he is absolutely no match for Wu Kongxue. The gap between them is too big. But at this moment, that loose devil Xiao Yu immediately uses his devil sense to say, Lord Wu Kongxue, that man running away is Reverend Heavenly Flame. Using his devil sense to communicate is just a thought. Wu Kongxue immediately focuses his attention on Qin Yu, who is running away. Running away? You're courting death. Wu Kongxue waves his sleeve. A blood-red beam of light shoots at Qin Yu like a flash of lightning. That blood-red beam of light is simply unbelievably fast. Even though Qin Yu's reaction is even faster, he is still pierced through by that blood-red beam of light. Wu Kongxue smiles confidently in midair. There is a hint of bloodlust in his eyes. His 10 fingers shoot out different blood-red beams of light at the same time. Those blood-red beams of light cause the space around Qin Yu to vibrate. At the same time, 2 more beams of light shoot through Qin Yu's body. Being hit by this attack of his, Wu Kongxue believes that this reverend heavenly flame in front of him will definitely die. But at this moment, Qin Yu is falling down powerlessly like a broken kite. The space around him is still in a state of extreme vibration. Big brother Wu Kongxue, where is he? Fire Devil and the other 10th Tribulation and 9th Tribulation loose devils all rush over. In terms of speed, they are still a bit slower than Wu Kongxue. He's dead? He's already dead. He's right at. Wu Kongxue points confidently at the place where Qin Yu fell. But at the moment, there is not even a shadow of a person there. Wu Kongxue is already dumbfounded and speechless. How can a man who is bound to die disappear? Xiao Yu immediately says, Lord Wu Kongxue, just now I saw that reverend heavenly flame fall to the ground after being hit by your attack. But as soon as he fell into that mountain forest, he disappeared. Disappeared? Now that the space is shaking, he'll definitely die if he teleports, so he must be hiding somewhere. But he won't be able to escape my devil sense. Wu Kongxue laughs coldly. His devil sense quickly spreads out in all directions. He is a 12th Tribulation loose devil, so the range of his devil sense is extraordinarily large. He does not believe that anyone can fly out of the range of his devil sense in such a short period of time. No. Wu Kongxue's face changes color. He searches again in disbelief, but the result is still the same. That reverend heavenly flame has unexpectedly disappeared in front of him just like that. Times Wu Kongxue simply does not know that not far from the place where Qin Yu fell, there is a piece of broken rock among countless rocks in the mountain forest. That piece of broken rock looks exactly the same as the other pieces of broken rock, but in fact it is the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Inside the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, too strong. Qin Yu feels a burst of lingering fear in his heart. If he had not done his best to dodge at the critical moment, perhaps the last blood-red beam of light would have pierced through his dantian. Qin Yu simply does not know what would have happened if the planet in his dantian had been pierced. As for the serious injuries to his internal organs, they have been completely healed thanks to his super recovery ability. Big brother, are you all right? Ho Fei, Kuro and the others rush over. Qin Yu slightly shakes his head and says solemnly, I'm all right. But now I can't go out. The Loose Devil Army's experts have already returned. Wu Kongxue alone can kill us easily. Moreover, there are also 11th Tribulation and 10th Tribulation experts. If we face any of them, we'll be in extreme danger. Chapter 252. Ho Fei also strokes his chin. He frowns and says in a low voice, that's right. That Wu Kongxue is very powerful. After all, he's a 12th Tribulation loose devil. Also, a large group of loose devil experts have rushed back, so we can't trample on those ordinary loose devils anymore. Ho Fei gives a ha-ha laugh again and says to Qin Yu, Big brother, don't worry about that much. Let's rest for a while in Qin Yu's immortal mansion first. Given the restrictive spells set up by Immortal Emperor Ni Yang at that time, how could a 12th Tribulation loose devil possibly discover them? I don't believe that Wu Kongxue can keep using his devil sense to search for us day and night. There is a faint smile on Qin Yu's face. Let's rest for a while. No, we should set off late at night today. Late at night? So urgent? Ho Fei is doubtful. Big brother, do you want to burn it again? Kuro looks at Qin Yu. Xiaohei knows me best. Qin Yu says smilingly. Hearing that Qin Yu really wants to do what he thinks he wants to do, Kuro's eyes immediately become blazing. On one side, Ho Fei also understands after thinking for a while. Ho Fei looks at Qin Yu with shining eyes. Big brother, you're really ruthless. Qin Yu gives an indifferent smile. Ruthless? This is not ruthless. Ho Fei and the others are not members of the Qin clan, so they simply do not know how important the Qin clan's members are to their own clan. Qin Yu has known since he was a child how heavy the burden on his father's shoulders is as the clan leader of the Qin clan. All of this is for the sake of the Qin clan. For the Qin clan to suffer so many casualties, most of the responsibility was on Qin Yu. Wu Kongxue, Reverend Ming Liang. Qin Yu's eyes flash with coldness. Countless descendants and nephews have died. More than 90% of our clansmen have died. When they killed unintentionally, they simply had no scruples. Now they'll have to swallow this bitter fruit. Times the heavenly fire on the surface of the Inue mountain range had already dissipated. However, the Inue mountain range was now barren and charred black. In the sky above the Inue mountain range, Wu Kongxue glances at the Inue mountain range below him with a gloomy expression. On the surface of the Inue mountain range below him, a large group of loose devils is carefully searching. The target of the search was, of course, the most important, heaven-sundering diagram. However, after searching for almost 2 hours, there was still no result. The heaven-sundering diagram was a treasure made by immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Just like when Qin Yu and the others entered the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion's treasure pavilion, although the heaven-sundering diagram was hanging on the wall, Qin Yu and the others didn't notice it. This was also the reason why Wu Kongxue wanted everyone to search for him personally. My lord, hundreds of loose devils have been searching for so long without finding the heaven-sundering diagram. Could it be that the heaven-sundering diagram has been burned? Pei Yan asked from the side. Use your brain. Wu Kongxue looks coldly at Pei Yan. What kind of treasure is the heaven-sundering diagram? How can it be destroyed by heavenly flames? You should know that I once got the heaven-sundering diagram, so I know it very well. What I'm worried about the most now is that loose devil Su Hei, who was in charge of the heaven-sundering diagram, has been burned to death and the diagram has been seized by that reverend heavenly flame. That would be terrible. Pei Yan immediately wakes up. Reverend heavenly flame burned that loose devil to death. If he really got the heaven-sundering diagram and ran away, what would we do? Don't worry. Wu Kongxue says coldly. At the moment, we don't know where Reverend Heavenly Flame has escaped to. But before looking for him, we have to do one thing. What is it? Pei Yan asks. Look for Su Hei's good friends or fellow apprentices and ask them if they have his soul jade slip. As long as we take a look at his soul jade slip, we'll know whether he's dead or alive. If he's still alive, there's an 80% to 90% chance that the heaven-sundering diagram is still with him. If he's dead and the loose devils below can't find the heaven-sundering diagram, then there's an 80% to 90% chance that the heaven-sundering diagram has been taken away by Reverend Heavenly Flame. After saying these words, Wu Kongxue's face becomes even more unsightly. That mysterious Reverend Heavenly Flame escaped from his hands, and it was also because of his carelessness. If the heaven-sundering diagram was really taken away by that mysterious Reverend Heavenly Flame, then he, Wu Kongxue, will really have to bear a lot of responsibility. Reverend Heavenly Flame doesn't look very strong, but he was unexpectedly able to release so much heavenly flame at once. Wu Kongxue is furious in his heart. How much heavenly flame would it take to cut off a thick layer of the entire Inue mountain range? But as soon as he thinks about that mysterious Reverend Heavenly Flame suddenly disappearing after being hit by his attack, Wu Kongxue hesitates. Could it be this Reverend Heavenly Flame is pretending to be weak while taking advantage of the fight between us and Mount Qingshu to take advantage of us? At this moment, Pei Yan is communicating with Dame Lien Yu, who is leading the loose devil army in the distance, through a transmitter. Lord Wu Kongxue. Pei Yan's face is full of joy. He says excitedly, Lord Wu Kongxue, just now I told the news here to Dame. She already asked a martial granduncle of Loose Devil Su Hei and learned from that martial granduncle's school that Loose Devil Su Hei didn't die. Didn't die? Wu Kongxue cannot help letting out a sigh of relief in his heart. He then hurriedly asks, can Su Hei's school know where he is now? They don't know. The experts of Loose Devil Su Hei's school all tried to send him messages, but they basically couldn't. It seems Su Hei simply can't accept messages. Pei Yan's face is full of doubts. Could there be a place that can block messages? Of course there is. Wu Kongxue gives a calm smile. Some special places, like immortals' mansions. They'll be isolated from the outside world. Even a transmitter won't be able to communicate with them. It hasn't been long since the heavenly flame started burning, but now I simply can't find any aura of loose devil Su He. I also don't know where he is now. Wu Kongxue's heart is really somewhat depressed. He cannot help but think of Reverend Heavenly Flame. Reverend Heavenly Flame, this time you've really pissed me off. Wu Kongxue's eyes glitter with blood-red light. But before long, a series of tremors and cracking sounds can be heard at the bottom of the Inue mountain range. Suddenly, a mountaintop is split into two halves. A huge sword silhouette flies out from it. That sword silhouette is several tens meters tall and 2 to 3 meters thick. There is also a human silhouette inside the sword silhouette. Seeing this person who suddenly appeared, Wu Kongxue's eyes widen. He cannot help exclaiming, Su He. This loose devil who came out from the inside of the Inue mountain range is none other than Su He, the guardian of the heaven sundering diagram. The huge sword silhouette starts to dissipate slowly. The human silhouette inside the sword silhouette appears. It is a young man with a bit of baby fat. Lord Wu Kongxue. Su He flies to Wu Kongxue's side. His face is full of excitement. I've finally seen you, Lord. Just now that heavenly flame was simply covering the sky and the earth. I was worried to death. Where's the heaven sundering diagram? Wu Kongxue does not care so much. What he is most worried about is this heaven sundering diagram. The loose devil Su He says at once, the heaven sundering diagram is fine. I know it very well. It doesn't matter if I die, but this heaven sundering diagram can't fall into other people's hands. At first I wanted to use an escaping technique to enter the mountain. But the Inue Palace has set up a large number of restrictive spells, so I simply can't use them. Wu Kongxue does not know whether to laugh or cry. These restrictive spells were set up to protect the Inue Palace so that the enemy would not be able to use an escaping technique to enter the mountain and launch a sneak attack. However, when the heavenly flame came, a large number of loose devils were burned alive because they were unable to escape into the mountain. The heavenly flame covering the sky and the earth made those loose devils and the disciples of the Inue Palace unable to move at all. If they could not escape into the ground, they would have died for sure. How did you get underground? Wu Kongxue says smilingly. A look of horror appears on the loose devil Su He's face. In the end you dripped your blood on it and took the heaven sundering diagram, right? Wu Kongxue's face darkens. The loose devil Su He suddenly kneels down. Lord Wu Kongxue, at first I did not want to drip my blood on this heaven sundering diagram, but the heaven sundering diagram was too important. When the heavenly flame came down, I could not let the enemy get it no matter what. Therefore, I dripped my blood on it and used the heaven sundering sword energy to protect my body. Wu Kongxue gives a cold humph. The heaven sundering sword energy was left behind by an immortal emperor. It's your good fortune to use it. Su He says respectfully at once. The heaven sundering sword energy was indeed very powerful. Even when I ran into the heavenly flame, it still protected me from being attacked by it. Afterwards, the heaven sundering sword energy easily pierced through the restrictive spells. Afterwards, I went straight into the mountain. Wu Kongxue certainly knows what happened later. It is nothing more than Su He hiding inside the mountain all along and not coming out until now. In fact, Wu Kongxue is extremely shocked in his heart. That heaven sundering sword energy was really wonderful. This Su He's power level is average, but after using the heaven sundering sword energy protection, his entire body seems to have been isolated from the outside world. Even when I used my devil sense, I couldn't find any trace of his aura. Could it be that the heaven sundering sword energy protection also has the effect of restraining aura to avoid detection? Wu Kongxue guessed correctly. Being surrounded by the heaven sundering sword energy, the aura of the person inside is completely isolated from the outside world. This is also a great magic ability of Immortal Emperor Ni Yang's heaven sundering sword art. Alright, give me the heaven sundering diagram. Now that your identity has been exposed, it's no longer suitable for you to keep the heaven-sundering diagram. Wu Kongxue says indifferently. Even though Su He likes this treasure which has the heaven-sundering sword energy protection, he is even more afraid of Wu Kongxue. Even though he is unwilling in his heart, he still respectfully cancels the blood contract. Afterwards, he respectfully hands the heaven-sundering diagram to Wu Kongxue. Having obtained the heaven-sundering diagram, Wu Kongxue feels much more relaxed in his heart. Oh! Wu Kongxue frowns. With a flip of his hand, an object similar to a transmitter appears. Big brother Wu Kongxue, Dame Lien Yun's loose devil army seems to have suffered a loss. Fire Devil flies towards Wu Kongxue from below. When Wu Kongxue received Dame Lien Yu's message, Fire Devil also received Dame Lien Yu's message. The content of the message is very simple. When Wu Kongxue, Fire Devil and some other experts left first, Dame Lien Yu reorganizes her loose devil army and starts to withdraw from Mount Qingshu to gather at the Yingyue mountain range. But that Reverend Ming Liang should also know about what happened at the Yingyue mountain range. He unexpectedly takes the opportunity to lead his loose immortal army out of the 10 development illusionary formation. The loose devil army and the loose immortal army once again fight each other in the pursuit. Unlike last time, this time the loose devil army is at a disadvantage. This is because more than half of the 11th tribulation and 12th tribulation experts on the loose devil side have left for the Yingyue mountain range first. Therefore, the super experts on the loose immortal side are very arrogant, especially Reverend Ming Liang, who is basically invincible. Having no other choice, Dame Lien Yu asks Wu Kongxue for help. Everybody, we've already obtained the heaven-sundering diagram. Our mission has been completed. But now the loose devil army lacks us, so its fighting power has been greatly reduced. Moreover, the loose devil army is being besieged by the loose immortal side. Everybody, please hurry to the battlefield as fast as you can. Wu Kongxue immediately uses his devil sense to communicate with these loose devils. Immediately, Wu Kongxue, Fire Devil, Pei Yan and the other experts all teleport towards the battlefield. Times on the road from Mount Qingshu to the Yingyue mountain range, the loose immortal side and the loose devil side have been fighting for an entire several 100,000 li. Within this several 100,000 li, more than 10,000 loose practitioners have been killed or injured, several tens of thousands of ordinary Zayashinists have also been affected by this road, and several tens of millions of mortals have been killed or injured. Along the way, blood has flowed like rivers. The sound of explosions is like continuous thunder. Ha ha. Lien Yu, today I'm going to let you Zayamoists remember forever how formidable we Zayaxianists are. Reverend Ming Liang is like a dazzling sun. On this battlefield, he is an invincible being. His existence has greatly boosted the loose immortal side's morale. Reverend Ming Liang can easily take care of any tough nut or formidable Xiomar expert. On the loose devil side, only Wu He can barely resist him. Don't be so arrogant, Ming Liang. An angry shout suppresses Reverend Ming Liang's loud laughter and resounds through the entire battlefield for several thousand li. At the same time, a terrifying smell of blood immediately pervades the entire battlefield. A blood-red beam of light shoots over from the distant horizon. Its target is none other than Reverend Ming Liang. After that blood-red beam of light, various rainbow-colored beams of light shoot over. Lord Wu Kongxue has come. It's Lord Wu Kongxue. The loose devil side's power is immediately greatly boosted. Humph. Reverend Ming Liang utters a cold humph. His entire body rushes towards the blood-red beam of light like a dazzling white beam of light. Countless loose devils and loose immortals can only see the blood-red beam of light and the bright white beam of light colliding, entangling and exploding non-stop. In short, not a single loose devil or loose immortal dares to come within several tens li of the area where the two beams of light collide. But the space is not torn apart. So powerful. Wu He cannot help narrowing his eyes. He can see clearly that Reverend Ming Liang and Wu Kongxue are attacking each other with almost no excess energy. Every time, they control their energy extremely precisely. This is the reason why the space is not torn apart. After a while, the two beams of light separate. One is the #1 expert of the Xiaomo path, Wu Kongxue, with a blood-red robe fluttering in the wind. The other is the #1 expert of the Xiaomo path, Reverend Ming Liang, who is wearing a moon-white robe. Qin Yu quietly appears alone in a mountain forest in the distance of the Inue mountain range. Just as I expected, given Reverend Ming Liang's intelligence, he definitely knows about such a big thing happening in the Inue mountain range. Presumably he's also guessed that the loose devil side must have sent some experts back first. If Reverend Ming Liang doesn't take advantage of this opportunity to trample on the loose devil side, he'll be a real idiot. Qin Yu sweeps the already empty Inue mountain range with a faint smile on his face. Immediately, riding his middle-grade immortal weapon, he rushes in the direction of Mount Qingshu as fast as he can. Everything is under control. After flying for a while, Qin Yu sees in the distance that the loose devil side and the loose immortal side are fighting each other. He immediately takes a detour. The fighting is really fierce. How many loose practitioners have actually died? Along the way, he has flown at least 100,000 li, but during this distance, there are unexpectedly countless severed limbs and dried black blood. Most of the people here are probably still ordinary mortals, but the number of loose devils is definitely not small. Reverend Ming Liang is really ruthless enough. He chased them all the way for several 100,000 li. This time he's really happy. But falling from a mountain peak to the bottom of a valley is the most painful feeling. After flying for a while, Qin Yu arrives at Mount Qingshu. Now that the loose immortal side has gone to chase the loose devil side, the Qingshu Temple's disciples all come out of the 10 development illusionary formation and start to tidy up the mountain after the big battle. The Qingshu Temple is much better off than the Inue Palace. Its elite disciples and many experts are hiding in the 10 development illusionary formation, so its losses are very small. Now Mount Qingshu is in full swing. One can clearly see various Xiaotianists lifting huge rocks with one hand and starting to build their residences. Senior brother, those loose devils are really abominable. They even destroyed most of the buildings in our school. That beautiful scenery is basically gone. These evil Xiaomo thieves should be exterminated. A Qingshu Temple disciple is discussing with his senior brother. That senior brother also says with a cold humph, Reverend Ming Liang of our Qingshu Temple has already set out in person, leading several tens of thousands of loose immortals to kill them. He and his subordinates have already exterminated those formidable schools and formidable experts. Later on, we'll set out to exterminate those small schools. The Qingshu Temple has always been the #1 school of Xiaotianists, so it is normal for it to bully the disciples of other schools. This time its school was almost destroyed, so naturally it is extremely angry. Senior brother, what's that? A purple flame. That junior brother raises his head to look at a flame falling extremely fast from the sky and says doubtfully. That senior brother is also startled. Ah, it's the heavenly flame. That senior brother's face instantly turns pale. After the first heavenly flame falls, over 100 huge purple fireballs immediately smash down on the entire Mount Qingshu. In just a while, countless purple fireballs smash down from the sky above the Mount Qingshu. They are so dense and endless that the Mount Qingshu immediately becomes an ocean of heavenly flame. Times the loose devils and loose immortals have finally reached a truce, but super experts such as Wu Kongxue and Reverend Ming Liang are still opposing each other. Ming Liang, who's this Reverend Heavenly Flame? He even destroyed my Inue Palace and the entire Inue mountain range. Dame Lien Yu's voice is cold. Haha, Reverend Heavenly Flame is of course a peerless expert of my loose immortal side. Eliminating devils and defending justice is what loose immortals should do. What you did this time is really satisfying, fellow Heavenly Flame. Reverend Ming Liang is very proud of himself. In Heavenly Palace, Reverend Ming Liang received news from ordinary Xiaotianists that the Inue mountain range has been burned down by Heavenly Flame. He is overjoyed because he knows that his chance to counterattack has come. At the moment he is really grateful to that mysterious Reverend Heavenly Flame. Eliminating devils and defending justice, that's a nice way to put it. Your Qingshu Temple, Senior brother, not good, not good. On one side, Reverend Ming Shan has seen the transmitter. His whole face is so pale that it is bloodless. At the same time, Dame Lian Yu has also received a message. After all, she has placed some spies outside Mount Qingshu. As soon as she sees this message, Dame Lian Yu's face is full of disbelief. She then looks at Reverend Ming Liang and laughs wildly. Haha, eliminating devils and defending justice. What a good eliminating devils and defending justice. What a good fellow heavenly flame. How cordial you are. What a pity. Your Mount Qingshu has also been burned into a mess by heavenly flame. Chapter 253. Dame Lian Yu's sarcasm makes Reverend Ming Liang's face darken. Just now he was affectionately calling him Taoist friend Heavenly Flame, and also repeatedly saying that he wanted to get rid of devils and defend the way. However, in the blink of an eye, that terrifying heavenly flame descended on the entire Mount Qingshu. Reverend Ming Liang simply cannot accept the result of the heavenly flame covering the entire Mount Qingshu. Reverend Ming Liang, I'm puzzled. Didn't you say that Reverend Heavenly Flame is on your side? How come your Mount Qingshu has been burned into a mess by the heavenly flame? Could it be, besides Reverend Heavenly Flame, there's also a loose devil who can release heavenly flame? Wu Kongxue asks with a concerned look. Reverend Ming Liang has lost a lot of face. Moreover, in front of countless loose practitioners. Reverend Heavenly Flame, humph, from now on, how can that devil be called Reverend? Reverend Ming Liang says coldly, I originally thought he was a loose immortal, but now it seems that he's most likely a loose devil. Don't you loose devils have a lot of internal strife? A heavenly flame devil lord destroying your Inue mountain range. Isn't that normal? With just a few words, Reverend Ming Liang pushed Qin Yu into the loose devil camp. Sophistry. Wu Kongxue says disdainfully, that person who released the heavenly flame dared to burn down the entire Inue mountain range. How can he be a loose devil? Both loose devils and loose immortals don't recognize him. This person is really evil. Wu Hei says with a smile on the side. Wu Hei and Wu Kongxue are both solitary loose devils. They simply do not belong to the Xiaomois school seniors of the Tenglong continent. They also do not care about the life and death of the loose devils and loose immortals. Calling him Reverend Heavenly Flame or Heavenly Flame Devil Lord is wrong. Let's call him Heavenly Flame Devil Lord for the time being. But I want to ask Reverend Ming Liang. When we attacked your Mount Qingshu, many of your Mount Qingshu's elite disciples hid in the 10 Development Illusionary Formation, right? Now those elite disciples have all come out, if they have. Heavenly Flame Devil Lord's heavenly flame fell from the sky, those disciples of your Mount Qingshu. Wu Hei laughs a few times. As soon as Reverend Ming Liang thinks of the Mount Qingshu's elite disciples, his heart becomes anxious. Those elite disciples are the future of the Qingshu Temple. If they are all burned to death, then Reverend Ming Liang will probably become the Qingshu Temple's eternal sinner. Ming Liang, your Mount Qingshu has been burned down. Why haven't you returned yet? Fire Devil said gloatingly. Reverend Ming Liang frowned. Go back. Could it be that he, Reverend Ming Liang, did not want to go back and kill that bastard who released the heavenly fire? But would Wu Kongxue, Wu Hei, Fire Devil, Dame Lian Yu and the others be kind enough to let him go back? Reverend Ming Liang laughs coldly. I think, once I return, you will begin to recklessly attack our army of loose immortals. Wu Kongxue says with a brilliant smile. Smart. That's indeed what I was thinking. Ming Liang, you don't even think about it. When my Inue mountain range was burned down by that heavenly flames fiend, I led some experts back to Inue mountain range. Didn't you also take the opportunity to lead your army to chase after my loose devil army for hundreds of thousands of miles? As the saying goes, politeness demands reciprocity. You've hunted us down once, so if you go back, we'll also hunt down your army of loose immortals. Wu Kongxue calmly explained everything clearly. Wu Kongxue said very clearly, Ming Liang, if you go back, I'll hunt down your army of loose immortals. If you don't go back, then you'll have to watch the disciples of Mount Qingshu get destroyed by that heavenly flames fiend. Senior brother. Reverend Ming Shan said to Reverend Ming Liang. Senior brother, your position is revered. In the army of loose immortals, you're not only the #1 expert, but also the leader of all loose immortals. Once you leave, no one will be a match for that Wu Kongxue. And once you leave, the morale of our loose immortals will also plummet. No matter what, you can't go back. Reverend Ming Shan's mind is very clear. You can't go back, but I can. I'll lead a few 10th tribulation loose immortals back first. I believe we should be able to save some disciples. Reverend Ming Shan knows very well that at this time, 90% of Qingshu Temple's disciples have already died. Heavenly flames. That's a flame that even ordinary loose immortals fear. Even though those disciples are elite disciples of Qingshu Temple, most of them are only at the Yuanying stage or Dongshu stage. Once they touch the heavenly flames, they'll definitely die. According to the message, the entire Mount Qingshu has been enveloped by the heavenly flames. How many disciples of the Qingshu Temple can survive? Junior brother, I'll leave everything to you. Reverend Ming Liang has no choice but to let his junior brother go out first and try to protect some of Qingshu Temple's disciples. But junior brother, if you find that heavenly flames fiend, no matter what, you have to capture or kill him. This person almost destroyed my Qingshu Temple's entire school. If I don't kill him, I won't be able to rest easy for the rest of my life. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes are cold. Don't worry, senior brother. Even if you don't say, I'll still kill this heavenly flames fiend. Reverend Ming Liang is also full of hatred. Soon after, Reverend Ming Liang quietly flies into the camp of the loose immortal army, casually leads 4 or 5 10th tribulation loose immortals and uses teleportation to quietly leave. Times on a small hill not far from the battlefield of the loose immortals and loose devils, there are 4 people. They are the 4 great experts from the wilderness of the Qianlong continent, the controller of the wilderness, Yu Liang, and his 3 subordinates, Kong Chao, Wu Shan, and Xing Shou. Yu Liang has his hands behind his back, looking in the direction of the battlefield of the loose immortals and loose devils. My lord, the loose immortals and loose devils have already fought several times. The number of dead loose practitioners has reached several tens of thousands. When should we make our move? Xing Shou asks behind Yu Liang. Yu Liang lightly smiles and shakes his head. Don't worry, it's not the time yet. Even though the number of dead loose immortals is about 40 to 50,000, but most of them are low-level loose immortals and loose devils. And the 6th tribulation loose immortals and loose devils are only a small part. For the loose immortals and loose devils, in terms of numbers, they've lost almost 40%. But in fact, they've only lost 20 to 30% of their strength. Yu Liang's eyes are shining, not to mention that we're not the only ones hiding in the dark. My lord, there's still someone hiding in the dark. Fire Rock Lion Wu Shan asks doubtfully. Hydra Kong Chao says, Wu Shan, did you forget the expert who released the heavenly flame? Able to release the heavenly flame and burn the Inue mountain range to the ground. You should also know the power and scarcity of the heavenly flame, but this person released so much heavenly flame in one breath. Presumably my lord doesn't have this kind of power. Yu Liang says with a nod. Indeed, releasing so much heavenly flame. Not to mention me, I think even Fong Tian and Zhong Ju, 2 invincible experts, wouldn't be able to do it. I think that mysterious person who released the heavenly flame should have some kind of treasure on him that can release it. Yu Liang's guess is very correct. Qin Yu has the Lord of Black Flame's ring. Without it, who would be able to release so much heavenly flame in one breath? I don't believe that the person who released the heavenly flame is some kind of Lone Ranger expert. Yu Liang says confidently and indifferently. If he was a Lone Ranger expert, how could he be so crazy as to destroy the entire Inue Palace in one breath? I think there's definitely some kind of great power behind him. Yu Liang's analysis is based on a normal situation. Under normal circumstances, no one would dare to do this to the Inue Palace, but Qin Yu did it for revenge. Moreover, Qin Yu still has a life-saving treasure, the Qingyu Immortal Mansion and a sword immortal puppet that has never been used. Apart from this mysterious person who released the heavenly flame, there's also the Dragon Clan, which has always been hiding in the dark and never got into action. When Yu Liang mentions the Dragon Clan, his eyes flash with a cold light. Dragon Clan, you must remember that a dog that never bites is the most terrible. The current Dragon Clan is only hiding its teeth and claws. Once it shows them, I think it'll be the most tragic and dangerous time. The three great demons all nod. They are all members of the Demon Clan. But the Dragon Clan alone has become an extremely huge power among the Demon Clan. Only when countless other walking divine beasts have gathered together can they contend against the Dragon Clan. Thus, it can be judged how powerful the Dragon Clan is. The time hasn't come yet. We can only continue to wait. Yu Liang says indifferently. The three great demons behind him all nod and look at the battlefield of loose immortals and loose devils in the distance. Times Mount Qingshu is covered in white snow. Only now Mount Qingshu has become a huge volcano. Moreover, it is a volcano that burns with heavenly flames. Those snowflakes have already turned into mist. The buildings of the entire Qingshu temple have been burned to ashes. A large part of Mount Qingshu has been burned away. In terms of size, Mount Qingshu is much smaller than the Inue mountain range. Because it is much smaller, it is much easier for Qin Yu to release the heavenly flame to burn down the entire Mount Qingshu. In a school, the most important thing is its disciples. Next is its headquarters. A headquarters that has been in operation for 1,000,000 years is especially important. There are quite a few places on Mount Qingshu where its seniors practice. There are also quite a few secret places and defensive restrictive spells. But, under the merciless purple flame, everything is burned to a crisp. In the sky above Mount Qingshu, Qin Yu, Hou Fei and Kuro are standing together. At the moment, Qin Yu's heavenly flame field has only shrunk to an area of 1 m because the countless purple fireballs released by Qin Yu just now have already burned the entire Mount Qingshu. Occasionally, Qin Yu slightly controls a ball of heavenly flame to shoot it out. Under the boundless heavenly flame, in the beginning, 90% of the Qingshu temple's disciples were killed. Afterwards, those lucky survivors tried to run away but faced with the boundless heavenly flame, more than half of them still died. Only a small portion of the disciples at the border of Mount Qingshu managed to escape. There are also a few who escaped into the 10 Development Illusionary Formation from outside. What is the safest place on Mount Qingshu? That is precisely the 10 Development Illusionary Formation. At the moment, the 10 Development Illusionary Formation is emitting various white rays of light. As a grand immortal formation, the 10 Development Illusionary Formation does not only have the function of illusion, but also has other functions. If it only had the function of illusion, how could it have stopped countless loose devils outside? This Mount Qingshu unexpectedly has such a miraculous grand formation. Just now, the 3 loose immortals we killed must have flown out of this grand formation, right? I think there should still be quite a few loose immortals inside. Qin Yu casts his gaze at the 10 Development Illusionary Formation at the very core. Under the protection of the 10 Development Illusionary Formation, the heavenly flame is unexpectedly unable to penetrate it. Just now when Qin Yu released the heavenly flame to burn the entire Mount Qingshu, some loose immortals who stayed behind to guard the 10 Development Illusionary Formation in Heavenly Palace rushed out to kill Qin Yu and the others. The 3 loose immortals who rushed out were all experts, 1 8th Tribulation loose immortal and 2 7th Tribulation loose immortals. However, these loose immortals did not know that Qin Yu and his 2 brothers were most formidable in close-quarters combat. Unexpectedly, Qin Yu relied on the gravitational field and a middle-grade immortal weapon to kill the 8th Tribulation loose immortal in an instant. That 8th Tribulation loose immortal really died unjustly. Because of the sudden appearance of the gravitational field, he was simply caught off guard and was sneakily attacked by the gravitational field. Then Qin Yu followed up with a sword strike. He was finished. As for the other 2 loose immortals, they were killed by Hou Fei and Kuro with a stick and a spear respectively. After killing these 3 loose immortals, unexpectedly nobody else in Heavenly Palace dares to come out. Hou Fei says with a ha-ha laugh, "Big brother, I think the army of loose immortals has already gone out to chase the army of loose devils." The loose immortals left behind to guard this place are relatively weak. Maybe those 3 already belong to the relatively strong group. Right now they are so scared by us that they don't dare to come out. Monkey's words are possible. Kuro nods his head in agreement. Qin Yu's gaze, however, is fixed on that 10 development illusionary formation. Great formation, relying on the great formation to be that tortoise. However, how can I let you guys safely hide inside it? Castles in the air, I'll let you know the taste of castles in the air. A cold light flashes through Qin Yu's eyes. Fei Xiaohei. I'm going to use the heavenly flame domain over a large area. For the time being, you guys stay away from me. Qin Yu says to the 2 brothers. Ho Fei and Kuro immediately retreat several tens of meters. Whoosh! The purple flames immediately become excited around Qin Yu's body. Within a radius of 10 meters around Qin Yu, there is an endless amount of purple flames. Qin Yu is like a god controlling the flames, casually controlling balls of flames to descend. Only this time, all the heavenly flames are gathered in one place. Humph! Burning down the entire Mount Qingshu is difficult. But it's still possible to burn down all the rocks around the 10 development illusionary formation. Qin Yu controls with his mind. This great formation should be an important place of the Qingshu temple. Let it fall into the crevices of the mountain. Balls of purple flames descend from the sky, landing directly around the 10 development illusionary formation. As if being corroded, the purple flames directly sink into the ground. Those rocks simply cannot stop the heavenly flames in the slightest. As more and more heavenly flames appear, a several tens of meters wide huge trench appears around the 10 development illusionary formation. Inside the 10 development illusionary formation, Master, why does that heavenly flame devil keep using heavenly flames to burn the outside of the 10 development illusionary formation? A Qingshu temple disciple who has escaped into the 10 development illusionary formation asks his master. That master says with a cold humph, no matter what that devil wants to do, he definitely can't break the 10 development illusionary formation. Suddenly, all the loose immortals in Heavenly Palace feel that the ground around Heavenly Palace suddenly sinks downwards. Not good. The heavenly flames released by that heavenly flame devil have burned down the mountain below the 10 development illusionary formation. The 10 development illusionary formation is continuously sinking downwards. A loose immortal says in shock. When the mountain around and below it is burned, the 10 development illusionary formation will naturally fall. The 10 development illusionary formation is an important place of the Qingshu temple. If it is not at the highest point, it will sink into the crevices of the mountain. This will definitely become the laughingstock of the entire Tanglong continent. But what can the loose immortals in the 10 development illusionary formation do? Chapter 254. The purple flames continued to enter the deep trench, and more heavenly fire entered. More and more purple flames appear, and a single stream of heavenly flame is enough to burn a 100 m thick. At that time the Inue mountain range was only burned to a depth of 10 m or so because Qin Yu spread those heavenly flames in all directions to increase the burning area. Naturally, the depth of the fire was shallower. But now all the heavenly flames are gathered in one place. The area is many times smaller and the depth of the fire is naturally much greater. The rocks below are all gone. Let's see if your 10 development illusionary formation can become a castle in the air. Qin Yu recklessly throws purple fireballs one after another. In just a while, several thousand purple fireballs have completely burned the several thousand meters of rocks around the 10 development illusionary formation and below it. At the moment, there are several hundred loose immortals with average power in Heavenly Palace. There are also 100 or so lucky Qingshu temple disciples. But at this moment, there is a look of panic on the faces of almost all the loose immortals and Qingshu temple disciples. Heavenly Palace is sinking. Moreover, it is sinking rapidly. The 10 development illusionary formation not only completely protects the surroundings of Heavenly Palace, it also completely protects the several tens of meters below it and the several hundreds of meters above it. However, The unprotected several thousand meters of mountain below the 10 development illusionary formation was rapidly being burned to ashes. Sinking. The entire building of Heavenly Palace is shaking extremely fast. Every loose immortal and Qingshu temple disciple is flying on a sword or in the air. But they are still flying within the 10 development illusionary formation, so they can clearly see that Heavenly Palace is continuously sinking and shaking. Don't panic. That devil who released the heavenly flames can only burn the mountains below the 10 development illusionary formation at most. That's why there's nothing below the 10 development illusionary formation, causing Heavenly Palace to sink so rapidly. But no matter how much it sinks, as long as we're in the 10 development illusionary formation, the enemy definitely won't be able to hurt us. Shan Chu's voice rises in the 10 development illusionary formation. Reverend Ming Liang is leading an army of loose immortals to chase down the loose devil army, so this 10 development illusionary formation is under the control of 8th tribulation loose immortal Shan Chu. While Reverend Ming Liang is free and unfettered in the chaotic astral ocean, Shan Chu has always stayed in Heavenly Palace. If there is anyone who is most familiar with the 10 development illusionary formation, it would be him. Fellow Taoist Shan Chu, this Heavenly Palace is the holy land of your Qingshu temple. If it sinks like this, it will sink into the crevices of the mountain. We'll be fine. What about your reputation? A loose immortal says kindly. Shan Chu is silent for a moment. The holy land of the Qingshu temple was pushed from the highest point of Mount Qingshu to the extremely chaotic crevice of the mountain by the enemy. If some of the seniors of the Qingshu temple in the immortal world knew about this, they would probably vomit blood in anger. Life, reputation. Among the demonic cultivation, immortal cultivation, and devil cultivation, those with high status attached the most importance to reputation. Compared to the reputation of the sect's reputation was of course the most important. For the sake of their sect's reputation, many self-cultivators were willing to die. From this, one could see how important a sect's reputation was. Mount Qingshu has been burned to the ground. The main gate has been completely destroyed. The Qingshu temple's holy land, Heavenly Palace, also fell into a crack in the mountain. Heavenly Flames Fiend. An extremely angry voice rang out in the sky above Mount Qingshu. Uncle Master Ming Shan. Shan Chu and the other loose immortals are overjoyed. Just by hearing the voice, they can tell that the person is Reverend Ming Shan. Times Ming Shan finally arrived at Mount Qingshu with 4 10th tribulation loose immortals using teleportation. However, when he saw this scene in Mount Qingshu, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Save people. The entire Mount Qingshu has been burned down by a large layer, at least 20 to 30 meters in thickness. Mount Qingshu is barren. There are only purple flames. There are no more Qingshu temple disciples. Then Ming Shan set his sights on the most important, Heavenly Palace. In his view, Heavenly Palace has the protection of the 10 development illusionary formation, there will be no problem. But Heavenly Palace is gone. The Heavenly Palace at the top of Mount Qingshu is gone. This sight almost scared Ming Shan to death. Fortunately, he has absolute faith in the 10 development illusionary formation. He immediately began to use his immortal sense to search, and finally discovered, his Qingshu temple's holy land, Heavenly Palace, is sinking continuously. And the mountain below Heavenly Palace was completely burned down by the heavenly flames. The holy land fell into a crack in the mountain. At the same time he discovered Heavenly Palace, Reverend Ming Shan has already discovered the figure in the sky above Mount Qingshu covered in heavenly flames. There is no need to think. Just by looking at the heavenly flames around his body, Reverend Ming Shan has already determined that this person is the Heavenly Flames Fiend. The Heavenly Flames Fiend who burned down the number 1 sect of the Devil Path and the number 1 sect of the Immortal Path. Even though Reverend Ming Shan has the word Shan in his name, at this time anger fills his entire chest. Middle Dujie, what a brilliant disguise. How can a Middle Dujie release so much heavenly flames? This disguise is a bit too fake. Reverend Ming Shan can't care so much. He nods to the 4 people behind him. Kill. With a low shout, his whole body like an afterimage shoots towards Qin Yu. When Reverend Ming Shan came out, Qin Yu also discovered him. but Qin Yu did not immediately escape. The first thing he did was to let Hou Fei and Kuro enter his Qingyu immortal mansion. The second thing is to fight with Reverend Ming Shan. Wu Kongxue gives Qin Yu the feeling that he is unable to resist. But Reverend Ming Shan, Qin Yu feels that he seems to be able to fight. Even though Reverend Ming Shan is at the 11th tribulation, Wu Kongxue is at the 12th tribulation. There is only a difference of 1 tribulation between them, but Wu Kongxue practices the Blood Devil path, which makes Wu Kongxue's real strength more than 10 times that of Reverend Ming Shan. His 2 helpers have escaped, but this Heavenly Flames fiend did not escape. Reverend Ming Shan saw that Qin Yu did not escape. His face could not help but show a trace of coldness. At the same time, Reverend Ming Shan did not dare to be careless, because this Heavenly Flames fiend gave him a very strange and mysterious feeling. He, Reverend Ming Shan, can only go all out. Close. Chi, Reverend Ming Shan's protective immortal elemental energy easily blocked the heavenly flames. The flying sword in his hand shot towards Qin Yu. And Qin Yu just smiled brightly. Lord of Black Flame's ring. Gravity field. Who knows how many people have suffered from this move? Even if they are prepared, when the gravity quickly presses down, they will involuntarily move out of shape. And Reverend Ming Shan, who did not think there would be such an invisible attack, his whole body could not help but sink down. Puchi. The immortal sword that was also affected by the strong gravity also suddenly sank. The flying sword that was originally going to pierce Qin Yu's abdomen only flew past Qin Yu's thigh. At this moment, Qin Yu and Reverend Ming Shan's distance was not more than 10 meters. 10 meters distance for them is not considered a distance at all. In the gravity field, Qin Yu was not affected by the gravity field. With a wave of his right hand, a sharp sword pierced towards Reverend Ming Shan. What a strange ability! Reverend Ming Shan was shocked. He did not have time to dodge. Reverend Ming Shan's body burst with a dazzling light. That is Reverend Ming Shan's protective immortal elemental energy. Qin Yu's immortal sword pierced Reverend Ming Shan's protective immortal elemental energy, but only pierced a few centimeters, and could not go any further. Although a middle-grade immortal sword is good, but the owner's own strength is also very important. Qin Yu could not help but think, if it was not for the 2 fields of the Lord of Black Flame's ring, and having a middle-grade immortal weapon, coupled with that almost immortal body, Qin Yu's own strength is estimated to be on par with a 4 tribulation loose immortal. Almost immortal body, 2 fields, a middle-grade immortal weapon, it allows Qin Yu to have strength on par with an 8 or 9 tribulation loose immortal. But in front of an 11 tribulation loose immortal, now Qin Yu's sun core energy is so strong, even with a middle-grade immortal sword, the attack power is still not enough to kill an 11 tribulation loose immortal. Retreat. If even this can't kill, of course he has to run. Qin Yu's figure flashed and wanted to escape. And at this time Reverend Ming Shan was also scared. Too strange. What kind of ability did this Heavenly Flames fiend use? Why is there so much pressure all of a sudden? Just now, if I didn't use all of my protective immortal elemental energy, maybe today would be the day of my death. But he can't kill me like this. That means his attack power is really not that high. At most it can break through the defense of a 9 or 10 tribulation. It is useless against me. Reverend Ming Shan thought of this. His courage suddenly increased. Seeing Qin Yu escape, Reverend Ming Shan immediately transmitted to the 410 tribulation loose immortals. Everyone, this Heavenly Flames fiend's attack is strange. If you are not careful you may fall. I think, when you attack him, you must not fight in close range. The 410 tribulation loose immortals have just seen the scene of Reverend Ming Shan being stabbed by Qin Yu, who would dare to fight in close range. Chase. Reverend Ming Shan ordered, then led by Reverend Ming Shan, the 5 loose immortal experts chased after Qin Yu. At the same time, Reverend Ming Shan and the others are constantly releasing attacks. Their purpose is to shake up the space around Qin Yu, to prevent Qin Yu from teleporting away. But they don't know, Qin Yu is unable to teleport. Even if someone told them, they would not believe it. To be able to fight with Reverend Ming Shan and not die, would he not be able to teleport? Qin Yu flies very fast, but in front of 11th and 10th tribulation loose immortals, Qin Yu's proud speed is not as fast as Reverend Ming Shan and the others. After all, the difference in strength is relatively large. Reverend Ming Shan and the others quickly approached Qin Yu. For the time being, there is no rush to hide in the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Seeing their constant attacks, they obviously want to shake up the space, probably worried that I will teleport away. Qin Yu's face has a trace of a smile. Using the enemy's hand to kill the enemy, this is interesting. Qin Yu used his spiritual sense to find a Xiuxian school thousands of miles away. This school can be close to Qingshu Temple. Its status in the Xiuxian school is relatively high. Qin Yu immediately flew towards that school. Qin Yu flew past. Reverend Ming Shan and the others' attacks constantly bombarded the forest trees. Heavenly Flames Fiend, die. Reverend Ming Shan finally approached Qin Yu, and at this moment, the gravity field that Reverend Ming Shan was familiar with appeared once again. Even though Reverend Ming Shan was on guard, his body still stiffened for a moment, but Qin Yu's body was not affected at all. With a graceful turn, he easily threw Reverend Ming Shan off. Speed is faster than me, but to catch me in the gravity field, dream on. At this moment, a sudden plan gradually formed in his heart. Qin Yu's face could not help but have a trace of a smile. Yanfeng School, in the Xiuxian School, is also a top school, neighbors with Qingshu Temple. Of course their relationship is very good. Suddenly a shadow swooped down from the sky, like a stream of light passing through Yanfeng School. Reverend Ming Shan, that is where Yanfeng School is located. A 10th Tribulation Loose Immortal behind him said to Reverend Ming Shan, obviously they saw Qin Yu pass through Yanfeng School. If they continue to attack and shake up the space, it will obviously cause damage to Yanfeng School. Reverend Ming Shan's eyes flashed a cold light. Heavenly Flames Fiend must not escape, don't bother. Even though Yanfeng School is a top school, but compared to the number 1 school Qingshu Temple, the difference is still very big. Only to hear continuous rumbling and explosions. As long as Qin Yu flew through the place, Reverend Ming Shan and the other loose immortals' attacks would not stop covering. In fact, the power of Reverend Ming Shan and the others' attacks were not strong. They could not kill Qin Yu. It's just that Reverend Ming Shan did this just to shake up the space. But since it can shake up the space, normal school buildings simply cannot withstand it. They are all turned into dust. Who dares to come to my Yanfeng School and cause trouble? A furious shout sounded. Coming to his own school to destroy his own school building, how can he not be angry? 5th Tribulation Loose Immortal? Reverend Ming Shan swept with his immortal sense. A huge amount of immortal elemental energy was released, and all the experts in Yanfeng School did not dare to speak. The strongest in Yanfeng School is only a 5th Tribulation Loose Immortal, and Yanfeng School also has dozens of seniors participating in this loose immortal army. But the Heavenly Flames Fiend destroyed Qingshu Temple. In order to kill the Heavenly Flames Fiend, Reverend Ming Shan did not care about destroying some school buildings. So ruthless, but I like it. Qin Yu's body is as nimble as a swallow. With a simple spin, after leaving Yanfeng School, he once again flew into Yanfeng School. Since you're not afraid to offend this school, then destroy it more thoroughly. Qin Yu did not do it himself, but let Ming Shan and the others have no choice but to attack Yanfeng School's buildings. And the reason is only to prevent Qin Yu from teleporting away. But Reverend Ming Shan did not think that Qin Yu could not teleport. Qin Yu also used this point to let Reverend Ming Shan attack indiscriminately. Reverend Ming Shan gnashes his teeth. His heart is filled with hatred, destroying half of a school's buildings. This hatred is huge. Heavenly Flames Fiend, don't let me catch you, if I catch you. Reverend Ming Shan's whole body is trembling, and he has no choice but to continue attacking. Waiting until Yanfeng School is 50 to 60% destroyed, Qin Yu is satisfied. His body turned and rushed in another direction. This is only the first school, loose immortal of Qingshu Temple. If I don't let you destroy more schools, how can you be happy? Qin Yu's body involuntarily turned in a curve, suddenly flying in another direction, because he found that there is a school there. Chapter 255. Qin Yu's body is very nimble, weaving between the corridors and the pavilions. At the same time, attacks are constantly falling around his body. Suddenly the pavilions are shattered, the corridors are turned into dust, the space is also shaking. Reverend Ming Shan's goal has been achieved. In such an environment Qin Yu is absolutely unable to escape. Senior Ming Shan, we can't go on like this. We have already destroyed 3 sects. I think this Heavenly Flames fiend is doing this on purpose. If this continues, it will make many sects hostile to our Qingshu Temple. Qingshu Temple's 10th tribulation loose immortal Mingji said anxiously. Reverend Ming Shan does not want to destroy other sects? But the Heavenly Flames fiend lord with strange magical powers is too evil. Close in. For a moment the body is like a mountain pressing down. Just as the body adapts to the pressure suddenly disappears. But in the blink of an eye, the pressure reappears again. No matter how powerful the expert is, such pressure appears and disappears. They are unable to maintain the accuracy of their movements. Wanting to get close to catch the Heavenly Flames fiend. It was impossible. Attack from afar. Attacking from afar is a way, but the Heavenly Flames fiend has been unable to withstand their attacks many times, but it seems like nothing happened. Reverend Ming Shan would never have thought that Qin Yu's body has a terrifying recovery ability. Hey, you 5 are tired of chasing. But to be honest, you call me Heavenly Flames Fiend, I feel this name is a bit ugly. Your nickname is too vulgar. Qin Yu's voice came from afar. How dare you? Reverend Ming Shan and the other loose immortals are furious, being chased by the 5 of them, and still have the leisure to joke with them. How can they not be angry? Haha, catch me if you have the ability, haha. Qin Yu's loud laughter resounds through the forest. Qin Yu's whole body is like a black light shuttling between heaven and earth. The 5 rainbow lights, 1 in front and 4 behind, are also quickly catching up. Reverend Ming Shan and the others are faster than Qin Yu, but none of them are close to Qin Yu to fight. Close to this strange Heavenly Flames fiend. Are you tired of living? Oh, there is a sect 5,000 miles southeast. This is the 4th sect, 5 loose immortals. Continue to chase me. This time, our goal is to destroy 100 sections. You've only taken down 3 of them. It's still too early. With an elegant curve, Qin Yu flew towards the sect. Senior Marshal Brother, that school belongs to a good friend I met in the chaotic astral ocean, Reverend Lien Su. Lien Su Zhanren is an eccentric person, and he didn't participate in the gathering of rogue immortals. If we destroy his sect, things will be bad. Rogue Immortal Mingji said anxiously. Reverend Ming Shan frowned, but his body had already chased after them. Reverend Lien Su is a 10th tribulation loose immortal. I heard that he obtained a treasure in the chaotic astral ocean. Is that true? Reverend Ming Shan inquired. Loose Immortal Mingji said, that's right. Even though Immortal Yenshu is a 10th tribulation loose immortal, he has a very special magic treasure. He got it from an undersea whirlpool in the chaotic astral ocean. His strength is no less than yours. Reverend Ming Shan was slightly irritated. Let senior apprentice brother Ming Liang make the decision. Reverend Ming Shan immediately sends a message to Reverend Ming Liang. Reverend Ming Shan did not care much about the destruction of most of the sections. But this sect has a very powerful Reverend Lien Su behind it. Even though Qingshu Temple is not afraid, but it is still a very troublesome matter. Times on the battlefield between the loose immortals and loose devils. At the moment both sides are resting. Only Reverend Ming Liang, Wu Kongxue and other experts are on the same mountain peak. Reverend Ming Liang flipped his hand and took out a transmitter. What? Seeing a series of messages from Reverend Ming Shan, Reverend Ming Liang was finally shocked and angry. For the first time, Reverend Ming Liang had such a strong killing intent. This message from Reverend Ming Shan summed up to 4 things. 1. The fire burned Qingshu Mountain. Qingshu Mountain turned into a piece of scorched earth. Not even a blade of grass grew. 2. The Holy Land, Heavenly Palace, was completely burned down, and Heavenly Palace was trapped in a crack in the mountain. 3. 99% of Qingshu Temple's disciples died. Even if you add in the 10 development illusionary formation and the ordinary disciples who escaped outside, there are only about 200 people left. 4. Now, Reverend Ming Shan was forced to destroy one sect after another. Destroying someone's sect, this is a very big grudge. But if Reverend Ming Shan does not attack the space, what if the Heavenly Flames Fiend escapes? Can he let the Heavenly Flames Fiend escape? Junior brother, no matter what, we can't let the Heavenly Flames Fiend escape, at all costs. I also know that Reverend Lianshu, if his sect is destroyed then so be it. When the time comes, I'll personally go and talk to Reverend Lianshu. Reverend Ming Liang is angry. Remember, no matter what, we can't let the Heavenly Flames Fiend escape. If we don't kill him, even if I go to the immortal world, I won't have the face to see Qingshu Temple's predecessors. Looking at the mortal world. Among the loose immortals, there is no one who can make Reverend Ming Liang afraid. That weird-tempered Reverend Lianshu, although he has some magical powers, but in front of Reverend Ming Liang, he can't make any big waves. After passing the order to his junior brother, Reverend Ming Liang's heart became more anxious. His junior brother chased for so long and still couldn't catch the culprit. If this continues, his junior brother will be forced to destroy one sect after another. Destroying a few sects, Reverend Ming Liang is not afraid. He, Ming Liang, would still be able to withstand the destruction of dozens of them. But what about destroying a few hundred? Even if he is more powerful, he will still be isolated and besieged. It is difficult to offend the public anger. Ming Liang, what's wrong? Your face doesn't look good. Did you catch the Heavenly Flames Fiend? Wukongsu's pupils reflect Reverend Ming Liang's gloomy face. Reverend Ming Liang looks at Wukongsu but doesn't say anything. Suddenly, Reverend Ming Liang's heart moves. This Wukongsu doesn't care about the Tanglong continent's loose immortals. But if he doesn't care, Dame Lian Yu should care, not to mention that the Heavenly Flames Fiend also destroyed Dame Lian Yu's sect. Their hatred is also very big. Reverend Ming Liang doesn't speak, only uses his immortal sense to send a message to Dame Lian Yu. Lian Yu, I know your Inue palace was destroyed by the Heavenly Flames Fiend, and my Qingshu temple was also burned to the ground by the Heavenly Flames Fiend. Reverend Ming Liang speaks of his own tragedy as soon as he comes. Reverend Ming Liang also wants to unite the two against a common enemy. Dame Lian Yu looks at Reverend Ming Liang, at the same time uses her devil sense to send a message. Oh, why did Reverend say this? Reverend Ming Liang secretly thinks there's hope. Lian Yu, that Heavenly Flames Fiend's magic is strange. That day even Wukongsu couldn't catch him. You can imagine how good his escaping magic is. And now my junior brother is chasing that Heavenly Flames Fiend, even though he didn't catch him, but he's always following behind him. I think, if our two sides work together, we'll definitely catch that Heavenly Flames Fiend. Reverend Ming Liang suggests. Dame Lian Yu ponders for a moment. You're saying let's work together? We've already lost so many loose immortals. Can we still work together? Dame Lian Yu obviously doesn't believe it. Reverend Ming Liang continues. I also know it's unrealistic for our two sides to work together, but what I'm saying now is only for the matter of catching the Heavenly Flames Fiend. After catching the Heavenly Flames Fiend, we'll talk about killing each other. How about that? Dame Lian Yu starts to think. That Wukongsu isn't a member of your Inue Palace. He doesn't care about the hatred of your Inue Palace. But you're the number one of the Inue Palace. The Inue Palace was destroyed. So many disciples died. If you don't kill the Heavenly Flames Fiend for revenge, will you have the face to see your elders in the Devil Realm? Reverend Ming Liang continues to persuade. Dame Lian Yu's heart trembles. Heavenly Flames Fiend. How could she not hate him to the bone? Last time, he set fire to the Inue Mountain. This time he set fire to Qingshu Mountain. The number one school of the Devil Path and the number one school of the Immortal Path were both burned. I think he'll be satisfied. If we let him escape this time, he probably won't show up again. If we miss this time, we may never have the chance for revenge. Reverend Ming Liang's last sentence made Dame Lian Yu wake up. Yes. Both the Immortal Path and Devil Path were burned. This mysterious Heavenly Flames Fiend will probably be satisfied and hide, and then the murderer won't be caught. How can she face the elders of the Inue Palace? Okay, I agree. Dame Lian Yu uses her devil sense to communicate, but our cooperation is only for catching the Heavenly Flames Fiend. That's natural. Reverend Ming Liang's face has a trace of a smile. Finally, Reverend Ming Liang speaks. Just now they were only using their immortal sense to communicate, now they can discuss openly. Wu Kong Shui, is the Heavenly Flames Fiend's ability to escape very powerful? Reverend Ming Liang says with a light smile. Wu Kong Shui suddenly remembers that time, nods and says, "That Heavenly Flames Fiend was hit by my attack, but in the end he disappeared very suddenly, even my devil sense couldn't find him. You should know that at that time the space was still in shock, I really can't imagine how he escaped." Reverend Ming Liang says, "Now that Heavenly Flames Fiend burned down my Qingshu mountain, he's being chased by my junior brother Ming Shan. Even though my junior brother Ming Shan didn't catch him, but he's been following him. I think we should join forces to catch him first." Wu Kong Shui's mouth has a trace of a sarcastic smile. Just as he was about to speak, Dame Lian Yu interjects. "Good." Dame Lian Yu's eyes flashed with hatred, her voice is extremely angry. "That Heavenly Flames Fiend destroyed my Inue Palace's gate, my disciples died 99%, I Lian Yu and he cannot live under the same sky. If I don't catch this Heavenly Flames Fiend, I won't have the face to see my elders." Dame Lian Yu says again, "Ming Liang, you listen, I only agreed to temporarily cooperate in catching Heavenly Flames Fiend." Of course. Reverend Ming Liang smiles and nods. "Master Wu Kong Shui, this Heavenly Flames Fiend and my Inue Palace have a big grudge. I agree to cooperate with Ming Liang. Master Wu Kong Shui won't mind, right?" Even though Wu Kong Shui is slightly angry, but Dame Lian Yu's position in the Loose Devil team is actually not lower than his. Even though Wu Kong Shui is very powerful, he is only one person. And Dame Lian Yu is the leader of the Inue Palace. The Devil World's Devil Emperor personally ordered Dame Lian Yu to take charge of matters related to the Heaven Sundering Diagram, of course her position is high. And Wu Kong Shui also wants to kill that Heavenly Flames Fiend quickly. Of course I won't mind, Reverend Ming Liang, if the two of us work together, I believe that Heavenly Flames Fiend will definitely die. Wu Kong Shui smiles and looks at Reverend Ming Liang. "Hey, it seems this is the first time the two of us work together." Reverend Ming Liang nods and says, "It is indeed the first time." Immediately after the two sides reached an agreement, temporarily stopping the battle, at the same time with Reverend Ming Liang and Wu Kong Shui as the leaders, Dame Lian Yu, Fire Devil, Reverend Lan Bing, Shui Yu Yang and the others as the support of the super expert camp together set off. The two sides' strongest experts take action. If they want to make a move, they must succeed in one hit. Times in a world of white snow, a black light and 5 white lights, one in front and one behind, are chasing after each other. Up to now, Qin Yu has already flown for millions of miles. The total number of schools that have been destroyed has reached more than 30. Among the 30 destroyed schools, there is even a school of one of the 5 loose immortals that chased after Qin Yu. Reverend Ming Shan agreed to compensate with all kinds of treasures. Only then did he convince that loose immortal. "Heavenly Flames Fiend, if you have the ability then don't run." Not only Reverend Ming Shan, even the other 4 loose immortals are angry. Along the way, the 4 loose immortals also destroyed many schools, even inadvertently killed many Xiaxianists. And the schools that Qin Yu chose are all Xiaxianist schools. The 5 loose immortals can see that this Heavenly Flames Fiend did it on purpose. "If you have the ability then catch me, haha. Only know how to shout, what's the use?" Qin Yu laughs loudly, but halfway through, Qin Yu's voice suddenly stops. "Laugh again, Heavenly Flames Fiend, laugh again." A familiar evil voice rises. A large amount of blood clouds are floating in the sky. The smell of blood is even more diffusing. Those blood clouds quickly condense into a blood-red robe. The number 1 expert of the Xiaomao path, Wu Kong Shui, is standing in the air, looking at Qin Yu with a cold smile. Like looking at a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. "You are the Heavenly Flames Fiend." Another cold voice rises. Moon-white robe, deep serene eyes, the body's aura condensed to the extreme, and Wu Kong Shui are the 2 extremes. One is violent, one is calm, one is arrogant to the extreme, one is condensed to the extreme. This person is the number 1 immortal Reverend Ming Liang. No matter how calm Reverend Ming Liang is, at this moment looking at Qin Yu's eyes also contain unprecedented killing intent. Almost at the same time, a shadow appears at the same time. The seductive and noble Dame Lien Yu, the arrogant Wu Hei who practices the Black Devil path, the fiery Fire Devil. The elegant Reverend Lan Bing, the calm Shui Yu Yang, the murderous Reverend Qi Yang. The loose immortal side, the loose devil side super experts gathered in one place. In this world of ice and snow, everyone's eyes are completely focused on one person. A mysterious person who dares to burn down the number one sect of the Devil Path, the number one sect of the Immortal Path. Heavenly Flames Fiend. Chapter 256. Being surrounded and watched by so many loose immortals and loose devils, Qin Yu is not nervous at all. Instead, he seems to be talking and laughing calmly. What ability do I have to be able to make so many loose immortals and loose devils disregard their enmity and gather together in one place? Heavenly Flames Fiend. Good courage. Wu Kong Shui said with an evil smile. Wait. Qin Yu reached out his hand. Heavenly Flames Fiend? Who are you calling? Wu Kong Shui was startled. Qin Yu said with a bit of sarcasm, I really don't know what's going on with you loose immortals and loose devils. You don't know where I came from, and you don't know my name. You gave me the nickname, Heavenly Flames Fiend, without permission. To be honest, this nickname is really vulgar. Seeing Qin Yu being surrounded by so many people can still talk and laugh so naturally. Even if Reverend Ming Liang hated Qin Yu to the core, he could not help but admire Qin Yu's courage. Alright, it seems that before someone gave me the nickname, Heavenly Flames Fiend? Qin Yu looked at everyone. Reverend. Generally only the respected loose immortals can be called Reverend. Mentioning this, Reverend Ming Liang's face turned slightly ugly. When he knew that Qin Yu burned down the Inue Mountains, he was very happy and excited. He also regarded Heavenly Flames Fiend as the pride of the loose immortals. Who would have thought that his school would also be destroyed? You don't talk nonsense here. Reverend Ming Liang's face sank. You destroyed my Qingshu mountain, almost burned my Qingshu temple disciples. Today I must kill you to avenge those dead disciples. Dame Lien Yu's face also turned cold. Heavenly Flames Fiend, you burned the Inue Mountains and destroyed my Inue Palace. If I don't kill you, how can I face my elders? Want to kill? Come, do it. Qin Yu said very easily, as if death had no threat to him. Qin Yu suddenly said with a doubtful look, but Reverend Ming Liang, you want to kill me, and that Dame Lien Yu also wants to kill me. But I only have one life. Who will kill me? This is indeed a difficult problem. Wu Kongshui and Reverend Ming Liang both feel extremely strange. This Heavenly Flames Fiend's origin is mysterious. His magical powers are strange. Even his speech is so strange. It was as if he didn't care that everyone was going to kill him. Reverend Ming Liang, if you are willing to hand over this Heavenly Flames Fiend to me, my Inue Palace will offer you 3 low-grade immortal items. How about it? Dame Lien Yu said to Reverend Ming Liang. Clearly, this Dame Lien Yu wanted to capture Qin Yu for revenge. Although low-grade immortal equipment is precious, it is still possible for an expert of Dame Lien Yu's level to refine. However, it requires some precious materials. No. Reverend Ming Liang did not hesitate in the slightest. Dame Lien Yu's face slightly changed. Reverend Ming Liang continued, Lien Yu, this Heavenly Flames Fiend is extremely mysterious. Even when surrounded by all of us, he didn't have the slightest bit of worry. Don't forget that he once escaped with his life from Wu Kongshui's hands. If you waste any more time, he might be able to successfully use some kind of secret technique to escape. Very likely. He is now secretly preparing some kind of escape secret technique. Reverend Ming Liang looked at Qin Yu. How do you know? Qin Yu had a surprised look. Reverend Ming Liang lightly smiled. Don't be so pretentious. You think I don't know you are preparing to escape? You think you are smart. Qin Yu said disdainfully. Now Reverend Ming Liang, Wu Kongxue and the others are all surrounding Qin Yu. In their view, Qin Yu is already in the bag. The Loose Immortals and Loose Devils top experts are all gathered here. They simply do not believe that anyone can stop them. Now, the only thing they were worried about was who would kill Qin Yu. Reverend Ming Liang looked at Dame Lian Yu and said, "Lian Yu, I know you and I both hate this Heavenly Flames fiend. If we are in a deadlock like this, I don't know when we can kill this Heavenly Flames fiend. I think, why don't we attack the Heavenly Flames fiend together? No matter who kills him, it will be considered revenge. How about it?" Dame Lian Yu pondered for a moment. No matter what, Reverend Ming Liang's position is extremely high. To be able to say such compromising words is already rare. She cannot go too far. Since Reverend Ming Liang has said so, then I will also take a step back. Good, the two of us will attack this Qin Yu together. No matter who kills him, it will be considered revenge. Saying so, a purple sword appeared in Dame Lian Yu's hand. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes brightened. Purple Dawn sword, even the Inue Palace's most precious treasure is used. Then I can't hide my strength. A sword tip slowly emerged from Reverend Ming Liang's palm. This is a broken sword tip, only an inch long. Since Reverend Ming Liang started practicing stellar art, he usually only uses extremely condensed immortal elemental energy when fighting. He rarely uses weapons. This time, he took out his immortal artifact. Ha ha. Qin Yu laughed loudly, acting recklessly. The Loose Immortals and Loose Devils looked at Qin Yu as if they were looking at a dead man. Qin Yu said with a smile, "Reverend Ming Liang and Dame Lian Yu took out such precious weapons, looks like they are determined to win. But, my fighting ability is not considered high in my school, but my escaping ability is very strong." At this moment, Qin Yu still does not care at all. "Then I'll see how you're going to escape. Lian Yu, attack." Reverend Ming Liang shouted coldly. At the same time, the 1-inch sword tip in his hand turned into a dot of resplendent light and shot towards Qin Yu. Dame Lian Yu's eyes were also burning with anger. Without showing any mercy, the purple dawn sword in her hand turned into a purple ray of light and shot towards Qin Yu. When Reverend Ming Liang and Dame Lian Yu attacked, a dark green ray of light shot over from afar. Its speed was so fast that it was simply shocking. Looking at the speed and direction of this dark green ray of light, it was very easy to determine. This dark green ray of light was about to collide with Reverend Ming Liang's 1-inch sword tip. There's another expert. Wu Kongxue, who was already prepared for accidents, swung his hand and shot out a blood-red ray of light. It went diagonally and collided with that dark green ray of light one step ahead. This Wu Kongxue let Qin Yu escape last time, so naturally he was very careful this time. Bang! Wu Kongxue's long-prepared attack was actually on par with that dark green ray of light that suddenly appeared. When the two collided, the space completely shook and even a very thin crack appeared. This caused Wu Kongxue to be uncontrollably shocked by the strength of the person who came. To be able to be on par with him. How many people are there in the mortal world? Dame Lian Yu and Reverend Ming Liang's attacks naturally landed on Qin Yu's body. Qin Yu's face had a trace of a bright smile. Showing such a bright smile right before death, Wu Kongxue, Fire Devil, Wu Hei, Reverend Lan Bing, Shui Yuyang and the other experts around could not help but feel extremely strange. Lord of Black Flame's Ring. Gravitational Field. Within 10 meters of Qin Yu, he had already set up a gravitational field. Once that 1-inch sword point and purple dawn sword entered the gravitational field, their attacking positions were involuntarily affected. Qin Yu's body also tried to dodge upwards. Puchi! The purple dawn sword pierced through Qin Yu's thigh. That 1-inch sword point pierced through Qin Yu's waist. Originally Reverend Ming Liang and Dame Lian Yu were both attacking Qin Yu's dantian. Bang! Qin Yu's thigh and waist both exploded. 2 frightening holes appeared on his body. Blood dyed Qin Yu's entire body. Qin Yu's entire body powerlessly fell into the endless snow below like a broken sandbag. Let's see if you're not dead. Dame Lian Yu and Reverend Ming Liang watched Qin Yu fall into the snow and prepared to attack again. However, at this moment, Dame Lien Yu, Wu Kongxue, Reverend Ming Liang and the others all saw Qin Yu fall into the snow and unexpectedly raise his head to look at them with a brilliant smile. Not good. Wu Kongxue felt a wave of unease. They saw that once Qin Yu touched the snow, his entire body actually completely disappeared. Only a trace of Qin Yu's blood was left on the snow where Qin Yu fell, but Qin Yu himself had completely disappeared in front of so many experts. He escaped. Wu Kongxue, Dame Lien Yu, Fire Devil, Reverend Ming Liang and the other experts' first reaction was to use their immortal sense and devil sense to search. 12th Tribulation Experts. Their immortal sense and devil senses range is very wide. He definitely didn't teleport. Just now when I fought with the mysterious expert, the space is still in shock. He definitely can't teleport. But where did he run to? Wu Kongxue's eyes radiated light as he looked around carefully. Reverend Ming Liang and the other experts were all in disbelief. Right under their eyes, that heavily injured Heavenly Flames fiend just disappeared like that. Wu Kongxue, what's going on? How could that Heavenly Flames fiend escape? Even if it was me in such a situation, it's absolutely impossible to escape silently. Now the space is still in shock, he can't teleport, how did he escape? Burrowing, in such a short time, how could he escape the range of my immortal sense? Reverend Ming Liang was going crazy. Dame Lien Yu was also angry to the point of wanting to kill someone. How could that Heavenly Flames fiend escape? Dame Lien Yu's heart was full of hatred. Wu Kongxue's mouth showed a trace of a bitter smile, helplessly said, "You don't know, last time that Heavenly Flames fiend also fell to the ground after being hit by my attack, but in a blink of an eye he completely disappeared, I couldn't find him at all." Wu Hei said in surprise. He has this kind of ability? No wonder he said his escaping skills are very high. Suddenly all the loose immortals and loose devils recalled what Qin Yu said. Haha, everyone, didn't I say, my escaping skills are very strong. Qin Yu's voice suddenly rang out at this time, resounding through heaven and earth. It's Heavenly Flames fiend. Dame Lien Yu said in shock. Wu Kongxue and Reverend Ming Liang were shocked. Wu Hei, Fire Devil, Shuiyu Yang and other experts all had a face of disbelief. All the experts could not help but use their devil sense and immortal sense to search again, but still could not find any trace of Qin Yu's aura. Don't look, you can't find me. Reverend Ming Liang, Dame Lien Yu, actually I don't like you loose devils and loose immortals, so this time I came out to burn down your Qingshu Mountain and Inue Mountain. Since I've burned down the #1 immortal sect and the #1 devil sect, I'm satisfied. From now on, I won't appear again. Qin Yu's slightly smiling voice sounded between heaven and earth. Wu Kongxue, Reverend Ming Liang and other loose immortals were very impatient. They clearly heard the voice of this Heavenly Flames fiend, but they simply could not find him. Won't come out. Dame Lien Yu was very anxious. Doesn't this mean I won't be able to take revenge in the future? Reverend Ming Liang was also very angry. Smart, from now on you won't be able to find me, naturally. You'll also never be able to take revenge. Qin Yu's voice sounded again, well, I don't have time to waste with you, I have a lot of things to do, everyone, goodbye. After saying that, Qin Yu's voice slowly disappeared between heaven and earth. From the moment Qin Yu said these words, those loose immortals and loose immortals all used their devil sense and immortal sense to search, but still could not find any trace of Qin Yu's aura. He's gone, it's impossible to find him. Wu Kongxue shook his head. When Wu Kongxue chased Qin Yu, it was the same situation. Heavenly Flames fiend, if you have the ability then run, I Lien Yu swear, even if I can't take revenge, my Inue Palace's disciples will always remember this great humiliation. One day, my Inue Palace will definitely return with interest. Dame Lien Yu seemed a little hysterical. Unless you never come out and be a coward, otherwise. Reverend Ming Liang's face was also livid. Haha. Well, since you've said such ruthless words, if I don't respond, others will think I'm a coward. Qin Yu's voice sounded again. Reverend Ming Liang and Dame Lien Yu's faces could not help but show a trace of a smile. they were most worried that the Heavenly Flames fiend would just disappear like this. At that time, how would they take revenge? It seems their provocation was still very useful. Good, very good. Qin Yu's cold laughter sounded. Reverend Ming Liang, Dame Lian Yu, you've been fighting for so long, isn't it for the heaven-sundering diagram? But you've never dared to disclose the secret of the heaven-sundering diagram. Why don't you dare to disclose it? Reverend Ming Liang, Dame Lian Yu and other experts who knew about it all trembled in their hearts. Can the existence of Ni Yang realm be disclosed? Once it is disclosed, the strongest power in the mortal world, chaotic astral ocean, will most likely join in. Once that evil and invincible expert Zhong Ju joins in, then it will be terrible. Whether it's Wu Kongxue or Reverend Ming Liang, in front of Zhong Ju, they will all have to stand aside. Ni Yang realm, Teske, a level 8 mystic immortal super-immortal's nest, the treasures inside must be earth-shattering. Qin Yu's voice sounded again. How did he know? Dame Lian Yu and others were shocked. Didn't you threaten me? Very good. Originally I thought burning the number 1 immortal sect and devil sect was enough, but now it seems that Tanglong continent is still not chaotic enough. Then I'll add fuel to the fire. I also have some friendship with Devil Peng Island's Zhong Ju. If I tell him this news, I believe Tanglong continent will be even more lively. Let's make this bloody storm even more violent. Haha. Qin Yu's bright laughter disappeared from the sword tip. Dame Lian Yu, Reverend Ming Liang and others all had solemn faces. The strongest chaotic astral ocean will join in, and that Zhong Ju. Tanglong continent will face an unprecedented bloody storm. Reverend Ming Liang, who is familiar with chaotic astral ocean's strength, began to regret. In the end his and Dame Lian Yu's provocation seemed to have backfired. Wu Kongxue's face was solemn. Remember when we killed Heavenly Flame's fiend, there was a dark green light. That person's power is definitely no less than mine. Immediately, Reverend Ming Liang remembered that dark green light. An expert no less than Wu Kongxue. Who could it be? The strongest chaotic astral ocean, the invincible Zhong Ju. At the same time, the dragon clan hiding in the dark has not made a move, the invincible Fong Tian. And this mysterious Heavenly Flames fiend, that mysterious expert who emitted the dark green light. Tanglong continent will enter an unprecedented period of chaos. The real bloody storm, the real chaotic slaughter, had only just begun. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.